A critical Week 9 matchup for two teams trying to navigate their way to the postseason. And the home team, the Purdue Boilermakers, ready to bust onto the field after a disappointing loss a week ago at Rutgers. But back home at Ross-Ade Stadium in front of the faithful in West Lafayette. Meanwhile, Nebraska coming off their open week. And before that, two really disappointing losses, lopsided losses to both Wisconsin and Ohio State. So they, too, are trying to get back into the winning column. Football on BTN tonight is presented by John Deere. As I mentioned, both teams 3 wins against 4 losses and try to right the ship after a defeat for Purdue last week and a couple of defeats for Nebraska before their open week last Saturday. Hello, everybody, with Coach Glenn Mason. I'm Brandon Gaudin. And, you know, I said it's a critical matchup. It really is. Both of these teams hoping to go bowling, obviously, and they each need 3 wins in 5 games to do it.
Yeah, on paper it doesn't look like a big game, but you already mentioned about Nebraska. You know, this open week couldn't have come at a better time the way they played the 2 previous games. Plus, they were banged up. And then you think about Purdue. I personally think that Purdue is the surprise team of the Big Ten until that loss against Rutgers. Now, tonight, both these teams, they really need a win to keep bowl hopes alive.
Each with 3 wins, as we said, needing to get to that magical number 6 number. And for Purdue, the quarterback situation, they've been playing 2 guys. Tanner Lee's been playing better for Nebraska, so the quarterback spot will be something to watch.
Well, it will be. Tanner Lee, he throws a lot of interceptions. They can't do that. And the quarterbacks, who's going to play better tonight for Purdue? We'll find out.
We will find out indeed. There's David Blau for the Boilermakers. He will get the start for Purdue. And speaking of Purdue and their head coach, Jeff Brom, a moment ago, here he was in the locker room.
You got to be more physical. You got to be more physical. That's how you're going to win the game. You got to be more physical than the other team the entire game. One play after the other. You make a mistake, move on to the next one. One play after the other. Physical, come at them, look across the line of scrimmage every time, eye to eye, and get ready to go kick somebody's rear end, one play at a time. You got to earn it. Okay? Every victory you have that's worth a crap, you got to earn it. So you got to go earn it, one play at a time. All right, somebody used to tell me every time before I took the field, and I want to make sure we do this, okay? When we take the field, okay, we cut it loose. I want everybody to cut it loose. Play loose, cut it loose, let's go play to win. Let's go.
So that's the message of Jeff Brom, and for the message of Mike Riley, we go down to our own Michelle McMahon.
Brandon, thank you, Coach. Coming off a bye week with 3 wins on the season, how did you emphasize the significance of a win in tonight's game with your team?
Well, it's big. It's that time of year where teams start to separate, and you either get better or not. So it was timely for us to get some guys back, and I hope it was timely just to kind of reset and get going.
What's the first sign in the first quarter that you'll be looking for that your team accepted that advice?
Well, I think that if we're stopping the run and running the ball a little bit, that'll be a good sign.
Coach, thanks so much for the time. Brandon?
Mike Riley in his 3rd season at Nebraska. Of course, Jeff Brom, his 1st season as the head man for the Purdue Boilermakers. Time to get you the Principal Financial Group keys to the game, and for that, I turn it over to Glenn Mason.
Well, you know, for Nebraska, they've got to get their run game going, the ground game. The last 3 games, they've been outgained on the ground. Normally, when they win that battle, they win the game. And for Purdue, they play 2 quarterbacks. They play Blau, they play Sindelar. Both of them have talent, but they've been inconsistent. Who's ever in the game has to play consistent for them.
And we mentioned that Blau will get the start. That's the word from Jeff Brom as of a couple hours ago, after Sindelar got the start the last couple of weeks as they volley back and forth, the Boilermakers, between their signal callers. It is a chilly night in West Lafayette, 39 right now. We're supposed to bottom out right around the freezing mark at 32, but the winds are pretty calm, and we're lucky to have a couple space heaters up here in the booth, so we're okay. We will manage. Updated Big Ten standings, as many of you know. A crazy finish to the Ohio State-Penn State game with the Buckeyes coming back and getting the victory. So now, with that loss by Penn State coupled with a Michigan State triple overtime loss to Northwestern, all of a sudden, Coach, it's the Buckeyes all alone at 5-0 in the East.
Yeah, that was a whale of a game, and the way that they came back, and that was just one of the crazy games. in the league today.
And we're not done yet. Purdue won the toss, and they will receive it. So Nebraska, as they come off that open week, hoping to have fresh legs and a new focus. Because the last 2 times on their home turf against Wisconsin and Ohio State, albeit 2 top 10 teams, were not very pretty. They're amped up. They've had all day to party in West Lafayette. And here we go as Drew Brown gets the right leg into it. And DJ Knox watches it sail over his head for a touchback. So David Blau will lead out the Purdue Boilermakers, and the last couple of weeks he's been coming off the bench. But he was out there at the end last game against Rutgers, and he will start it tonight.
Yeah, to think under that type of pressure for him to perform and throw the pass with 30 seconds left in the game for a touchdown, I was really impressed. He's got talent. It's consistency that's the problem.
Can he find that consistency against this Nebraska black shirt defense? Knox goes in motion, and here's a handoff and a 4-yard gain to start for Richie Worship. That's the big back, 6'1", 260-pounder from Cleveland, Ohio. In his career against Nebraska, here's what David Blau has done.
Yeah, watch him go. He's a good athlete. He can take it the distance, and I'll tell you, he's got a good arm. If he makes the proper read, he's in good shape and throws the ball on time.
43 career touchdowns against 33 career interceptions for Blau. Just 1 yard that time for DJ Knox. Nice tackle by the safety Joshua Kalu. And Nebraska is happy to have Kalu back. In addition, they also have Chris Jones at corner. They have Aaron Williams back from an injury. So Nebraska has the original secondary that they thought they were going to be starting this year, and that's a good thing.
The bye week couldn't have not come at a better time for those guys.
Yeah, getting them all healthy. For Bob Diaco and company on the defensive side of the ball. And that's incomplete. 3rd down, tried to target his tight end Bryson Hopkins. But it was an errant pass from Blau, and Purdue will go 3 and out.
Yeah, Nebraska went to man coverage, and I think typically against a Jeff Brom offense, it's tough to play man coverage. But right now, they don't have that type of speed at the skill positions to beat that man coverage. So look for them to run the football more tonight, because they have problems throwing it downfield also.
Joe Schopper, who had a good game against Rutgers. He was one of the lone bright spots. This one a relatively short punt. Fair caught at the 35. It's a 34-yard punt with the DeMornay Pearsonell fair catch. And Tanner Lee on the other side for Nebraska. And he's been playing much better as of late.
The one statistic that'll jump at you that will scare the heck out of you as a coach, though, 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's not good.
The good news is against Illinois, Wisconsin, Ohio State, 6 touchdowns and 1 interception in those last 3 games. But yes, Coach, those first 4, 9 picks. Through the first 4 games, he led the nation in that category. Play action to start. Lee completes it. Already inside of Purdue territory on the first pass of the game to Stanley Morgan. Morgan is their leader in receptions, yards, and touchdowns, and that one goes for 48.
Yeah, you'll see Purdue, they jump the cut. But, you know, if you don't get the ball, you got to make the tackle, and I'm not really sure what he was doing there.
So just like that, with the missed tackle, they're in the red zone of the Cornhuskers at the 18. High formation. Now they shift out of that. Divine Ezigbo is in the backfield. Tyjon Lindsey went in motion, and they give it to Ezigbo. That's going nowhere. Lorenzo Neal, amongst others, but big number 9 at 325 pounds, credited with a tackle.
Brandon, I talked before about the troubles that Nebraska has been having running the football, and those of us have known Nebraska for a long time. Most of us, kind of scratch our head. We just can't believe it. They just can't get it going. They have the pieces to be a lot better. They haven't put it together.
That's part of the reason that they're 13th in the conference in red zone offense. They'll try to do better here. Overthrown. Looking again for Stanley Morgan was Tanner Lee. 3rd down and 10.
When you look at Tanner Lee, the transfer from Tulane, man, he throws a nice ball. You give him protection. I think one of the problems that he has is making the proper read, and I think if he sees man coverage, he knows who to go to, but if it's zone, then he has to make his progression, and sometimes he makes mistakes. Watch for the defense, Nick Holt, the defensive coordinator at Purdue, to play more zone coverage tonight.
3rd and 10 for Lee. And inside the 10 to the 5, picking up the first down. He finds the tight end, Tyler Hoppus, for 13. There is a flag back near the line of scrimmage. Don Willard, our referee.
Hold it. Offense, 79. 10-yard penalty. Between 3rd down.
That's on the center, Michael Decker, making his 5th start of the season.
Yeah, you'll watch him right there, and he's getting bull rushed, and it looks like he just got knocked down. You saw the guard come and chip off on him.
And unfortunately for Decker, he is the one down, so he got called for the penalty. And now they're tending to that left leg area. And Mike Riley looks on with concern. He's had some injuries in a lot of different spots. The offensive line, no exception. And Michael Decker, a sophomore from Omaha, has been playing well recently, but now on the turf, and as you say, too, the penalty that backs him up to 3rd and 20.
There's Nick Holt, the defensive coordinator. Man, I was really impressed with him. Okay, let's watch it again. You see 79, he's getting bull rushed. You see the left guard. Oh, yeah, he had him. Yeah, as he fell down backwards, the official saw his right hand pulling the shirt. Yeah.
He was battling with Lorenzo Neal. Well, that's a good sign. At least he got up and is walking under his own power, albeit a slight hobble. It's the left side of the line for Mike Riley that's been pretty stable with Nick Gates and Gerald Foster. Center to the right tackle. They like them all, but there's a lot of youth, but they're optimistic. Guarantee you, though, they don't want to see Decker walk on the sideline. Number 62, Cole Conrad, will come in on the offensive line and snap it now to Tanner Lee.
Yeah, when you don't see any seniors in that offensive line, that's so atypical of Nebraska.
So they need 20 yards on 3rd down. And they'll go conservative to Azimbo. He jitterbugs around, but is dropped around the 27 for a short gain of a yard. From here, it would be about a 44-yard field goal for Drew Brown. Straight on for Brown, who does have a new holder tonight. Backup punter Isaac Armstrong to Zach Darlington, who normally holds his sick and back home. But the snap and hold look good, and the kick is right down the gut. So Purdue goes 3 and out. And then a 44-yard field goal by Drew Brown gets Nebraska on the board first. On BTN is presented by John Deere Gator Utility Vehicles. Go tough, go strong, go Gator. And brought to you by Discover Card, the official credit card of the Big Ten Conference. That's a look at the new Purdue football practice facility, $65 million facility. You and I, Coach, were over there yesterday. It's spectacular.
I was blown away. I tell you, that's as good a football facility of anyone that I've ever seen. I know a lot of people build and they say, we've got the best. I've not seen one better than that. They got it all.
Should really help Purdue and Coach Brom recruiting as they go forward. DJ Knox from the 2. Trying to bust it outside the numbers. Dragged down at the 20 for a return of 19. Now for the Auto Owners Insurance Impact players. Let's have a peek at those.
Well, I tell you, they've got to get the running game going. Richie Worship, 260 pounds, not only big, he's good. Jackson Anthrop, leading receiver. He's their go-to guy. And for Nebraska, Chris Jones, a guy that plays corner that missed the first part of the season. Man, are they lucky to have him back.
Yeah, they are thrilled to have him back, and that guy's just thrilled to be Kool-Aid Man tonight. We're going to see some interesting Halloween costumes, I have a feeling, nighttime in West Lafayette.
I thought he was a watermelon.
The handoff will go to Richie Worship. He is powerful. He had his best game of the year last week against Rutgers. That carry goes for 9 yards.
Yeah, the big fella from Cleveland, Ohio. When I was watching tape of Purdue against Rutgers, he made some moves that for a 210-pound guy would be good. 260 pounds? Couldn't believe it.
Quick hitter out to the left to Jared Sparks. He's the converted quarterback. But Jeff Brom said, hey, we need more playmakers in wide receiver. Moved Sparks out there, and he's really impressed. 6 yards on that last catch.
No secret, Jeff Brom wants to throw the football, and he feels he has to run it more now because he can't attack people vertically downfield. He doesn't have that speed. All too often, they start with a shift or a motion. They call it eye candy.
And they will do a lot of eye candy, window dressing, whatever you want to call it. Big hole here for Worship. Across midfield. And down to the 40 of Nebraska goes Richie Worship.
I told you the big fella. Watch him here, man. He's making a move, makes a cut. Look at that jump. And then what I like, he hits the ground and keeps going.
Finally tackled by Ben Stilley after a gain of 25. And Purdue going quickly. They return it to Worship. It just takes a while to get him down. That looked like it might go for a yard. He was able to drag it out for 5.
And there's a cumulative effect that when you have a running game with a back that's 260 pounds, if you don't think those guys with the white shirts on aren't going to get tired tackling him, you're wrong.
They do give Worship a break and return DJ Knox. Also supposed to see Tario Fuller for Purdue, who's been out the last 4 games with an injured right ankle. This time Blau wants to throw it. Pocket collapses. Down he goes. Ben Stilley was there, number 95, and also dropping him Khalil Davis for a loss of 3.
Yeah, the best pass defense is a pass rush, and he didn't have a chance here. You saw the guard pull out and get beat. The tackle got beat. The best thing he did right there is figure, hey, it's collapsing. I'm going to try to get back to the line of scrimmage and protect the football. He didn't have a chance to throw it away.
So from 2nd and 5, now 3rd and 8. Anthrop in motion. Flag whistled before the snap.
Well, start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Right guard Matt McCann.
Well, you'll see him right there. You got to sit in. Oh, yeah, he did. He dipped his butt, brought his head up. Trying to get a little jump on it.
Slightest flinch, and they will throw the yellow, and they did there to back Purdue up 5. So they need 13 yards now on 3rd down. Wow. Showcasing the arm, incomplete. Terry Wright tried to go up the ladder to grab it. Good pop from Blau, but incomplete.
You talked about showcasing the arm. I mean, that was just a flick of the wrist, and I mean, it's just milliliters away from being in a position where that receiver can catch the ball. That was a good throw.
Chris Jones was the corner in coverage. That will force the punt to DeMornay Pearson-L back deep for Nebraska. Pearson-L coming up. And Shopper was probably hoping for a little more than that. As Nebraska will start inside the 20 after a 26-yard punt. We'll be back at Ross-Ade Stadium. Next Saturday, another great slate of Big Ten football coming your way. A doubleheader of action on BTN. And don't forget the battle for the Little Brown Jug on Fox. It all begins with BTN Tailgate next Saturday on BTN and Fox. And streaming live on BTN To Go and Fox Sports Go. Michael Decker, the center, got injured, still down on the sidelines. For more on that, let's check in with Michelle.
Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, they were just investigating and checking the mobility on that left knee, and they strapped him back up with a knee brace, but right now he's just doing exercises on the sideline to try and get warmed back up. And he might be one of the young guys who's just a sophomore, but Danny Langsdorff, the offensive coordinator, considers him a spark plug. It would be a big loss for them on the offensive line.
Yeah, he's been very good the last few weeks. Carry for Zigbo going nowhere. Jalen Robinson, the D tackle, coming up for his 25th stop of the season, a loss of 2 yards.
Yeah, when you watch Purdue play, they're a base 4-3 defense. It looks a little bit different because they play their ends up most of the time. The read, because of the zone read by the quarterback, that's why they do it. They think they're in a better position to play.
Nick Holt said it looked a lot like the Seattle Seahawks at times. He compared it to what they do schematically in the meetings yesterday. Stanley Morgan, he's been the target so far for Tanner Lee. And he's dragged down just shy of the line to gain. He's got some turf on his face mask as well, but he'll be helped out. Auto Owners Insurance Impact Players when Nebraska has the ball, Coach.
Well, I talked about they got to get that running game going. Wilbon's going to get his shot tonight. And J.D. Spielman, the redshirt freshman slot back, also dangerous in the kicking game. And Dwan Bentley, middle linebacker, the leader of the defense for the Boilermakers.
Bentley and then Marcus Bailey, the killer bees. You got to watch out for those boys. Handing it off, looking for the first down, and Nebraska has it easily. It's Luke McNitt, the senior. That's only his first carry of the season to go along with 3 receptions. They don't give it to the big back often, but they did there, and it worked.
Well, you know, in most offenses, if you're a fullback, and a lot of offenses don't have fullbacks anymore, they're just an over-glorified guard. They give them the ball every once 3-4 games just to be able to call them a fullback.
Now, Luke McNitt and Austin Rose, those are the guys in that spot, but you're right, they don't get a lot of the glory. Picked up the first down there, and now they go back to Divine Zigbo, but nothing as he's taken down again by Jalen Robinson. Stanley Morgan returning to the field. Had to come out because that big divot we talked about on his face mask, they couldn't get it out. Last resort, just hit the helmet on the ground.
He was probably thinking, what the heck is this?
But they've got Morgan back out there, their leading receiver, and this is going to be against Nebraska before the snap.
Ball start. Offense on the 6 and 3. 5-yard penalty. And it's 4th down.
You know, Brandon, I'm just going to make an observation. I've had Nebraska twice before their opener, Arkansas State, then we had them against Rutgers. I think that they probably utilize their open week, bye week, to their benefit. They look a lot quicker tonight than I remember them.
Unfortunately there, though, that penalty by Tanner Farmer is going to set them back to make it 2nd and 16. They go empty backfield here as they split a Zigbo out and over the middle to J.D. Spielman. Across the field, so he ran a long way, but ultimately didn't get a whole lot out of it before he's dragged out by Marcus Bailey, a gain of 6.
Yeah, that fire screen, you let the defensive line rush in and you throw it out to the receiver. All the offensive linemen try to block everybody out, and then the receiver tries to turn it north and south toward the goal line and hit that little tunnel there.
3rd and 9 officially. 3-0 Nebraska, the first lead they've had in 3 games after those lopsided defeats to Wisconsin and Ohio State prior to that open week. Tanner Lee, seeing nothing, takes off, and he swung to the turf. Back at the 27, Jalen Robinson yet again. We've called his name a trio of times already in this game.
Yeah, there's pressure there, but I'm going to tell you, this is a coverage sack. Nick Holt, just like I thought he would, he went to a too-high safety. He played a cover 2. Tanner didn't know where to go with the ball. Had enough time for that rush to get there.
9th career sack for Robinson. He already has 2 tackles for a loss tonight. Caleb Lightbourne gets ready to punt it away. But we have another flag, and it's against Nebraska once more.
Ball start. Offense, number 19. 5-yard penalty, and it's 4th down.
sloppy penalties off that bye week.
Yeah, as coaches, we call those unforced errors, and anytime you have a motion penalty, but for a wide receiver, you always say, you don't listen to anything. You're out there, even as a flanker, you watch the ball.
Second false start on this drive. Last week it was Purdue committing a lot of penalties in their loss to Rutgers. So far tonight, Nebraska struggling in that department. Antrim, fair catch. Let's take a look at tonight's KFC breakdown.
Let's look at David Blau. You think a guy has talent? He's got it. Look at this pressure against Rutgers a week ago. They're down by 8. 30 seconds left. Man coverage. He makes the read. He throws the ball on time. Perfect pass. Now, I can tell you, if a guy can perform like that under pressure, all he needs is consistency. He'll win you a lot of games.
Junior from Carrollton, Texas, has played in a lot of games for the Purdue Boilermakers. Purdue's already matched their win total from a year ago, 3-4, as is Nebraska at 3-4. Both teams hoping to get to the postseason. They feel it starts here tonight. They go option on the pitch out to DJ Knox, and then he gets popped. Chris Webber coming up with a tackle after a gain of 6.
Yeah, it came a little option there and made the pitch out there. But, you know, when a running back runs physical like that, it ignites the rest of the team.
Purdue with 47 rushing yards so far as they flip this out quickly to Jackson Antrim. But that's good for no gain thanks to Lamar Jackson coming up for the tackle.
Yeah, and if you're a Nebraska guy, you'd say thanks to Jared Sparks, the wide receiver, because he threw a no-hitter on the defensive back. Those quick passes to a perimeter with a rolled-up corner, you have to make that block.
We mentioned Jared Sparks, a converted quarterback. Maybe that's something he's still feeling out at the wide receiver spot. Another penalty here pre-snap.
I think it's a timeout.
Maybe they got the timeout first.
First charge. Timeout of the half. Nebraska.
And the timeout is taken by Nebraska. 4:08 left, first quarter. A Drew Brown field goal. Those are the only points so far. 3-0 Nebraska. So David Blau starting. Elijah Sindelar. Figured to see him at some point. He started the last couple of games. Threw 2 interceptions on deep balls last week against Rutgers. But right now, it's still David Blau. Gives to Knox. Knox trying to slip through, but he's going to be tackled shy of the line to gain by Muhammad Berry. Here's the comparison between the two.
Well, you know, the thing about it that you look at, and I go back to the inconsistency. If both those guys could have eliminated that thing called interceptions, they'd be a lot better off.
Did you ever have a situation where you had 2 quarterbacks?
Never.
No?
No, didn't like it.
It's the old adage.
I think you got 2, you don't have any.
You don't have any, yeah. Purdue is now 0 for 3 on 3rd down attempts. And that was a big-time struggle for them last week as well. Fair catch called for, taken by Pearson L. 40-yard punt. Next Saturday, the pregame show for Big Ten fans comes to you from Iowa City. BTN Tailgate presented by Chase Sapphire Reserve. Next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on BTN. And our own Michelle McMahon did that show today in Columbus, and she drove straight here. You're a trooper, Michelle.
She's a warrior. Really, and she showed up with a smile on her face. My type of warrior right there.
So Nebraska takes back over. Hoping to get the rushing game going there. In the negative in that department. -2 yards that they've gone for to this point here where the pocket collapses. Lee steps up and airmails it. For a second, he had Tyler Hoppus, but a little high.
Yeah, he had Hoppus, but he was under duress, and he stepped up, did a good job. You can see he can't even get his feet set. Someone's almost got his face back, and he had a chance to put the ball in the money. But I'll tell you, there was a lot of things happening around him.
He had a season-high 303 yards against Ohio State 2 weeks ago with a pair of touchdowns and no interceptions as his improved play continues. This time he turns and gives to Azigbo. And Ezigbo across the 20 to the 21, brought down by Jacob Thieneman. Ezigbo, he was shut out against Ohio State basically with just 24 yards, but the 3 prior to that, the junior back was over 100 for 3 consecutive games, and trying to get, as you said, that ground game established. That's what Nebraska is used to.
Well, you don't talk to many coaches. I don't care where you don't talk about, you have to have a good run game.
Ezigbo replaced here by Wilbon, but it's going to be a throw on 3rd down, incomplete. There's the flag, though. Thrown high to Stanley Morgan. DeJuan Hunt was the man in coverage. Oh, this is going to be against Morgan. Mike Riley can't believe it.
Offensive pass interference.
Here's Don Willard to confirm.
Pass interference. Offense, number 8. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, 4th down.
Oregon and the Huskers thought they were going to get a free pass for the 1st down. Not the case.
Well, obviously, Stanley Morgan went on the takeoff and then pushed off. I'm not sure we have a look at it, but he was wide open. That might be the reason why he was wide open.
Offense struggling a bit. We've had 4 total 1st downs in this game, and that's our 5th punt that we've had. Jackson Anthrop calling it in. 41 yards on the punt by Caleb Lightmore.
And you wouldn't exactly call it defensive battle. It's just been ineffective offense. Missed opportunities. Passes thrown high.
Both teams settling in. Needing 3 wins over the final 5 weeks, each of them, to go bowling.
The other thing I can tell you about Jeff Brom, he loves trick play. So I'm just going to give you a heads up. Don't go to sleep on this offense.
Mike Riley was saying earlier in the week, we have to have our eyes in the right place at all times because of all the things that Jeff Brom likes to do. Here's a sweep. They like to run those sweeps with Jared Sparks. That's only for 1 yard to the 40. Kalu in on the tackle.
That was a lot of running for 1 yard.
He had success with that play in Piscataway last week a couple of times, and Sparks not there. Joshua Kalu wasn't fooled. Inside, get Markel Jones, first carry of the game for Jones.
1 step to the right, counter back to the left. Credit the Cornhuskers. Staying square. Reading their keys, making the play.
So after 3 yards, it's now 3rd and 6. Rushing yardage, Purdue 53, Nebraska 0 so far. Flag comes in, and the pass is batted down at the line. Khalil Davis, I believe, got the big paw on it. As they sort out the flag with 1:32 left in the 1st.
Illegal formation. Offense. Number 55 was not on the line of scrimmage. That penalty's declined. Local play is 4th down.
So certainly Mike Riley says to decline it, and now Purdue will punt.
Called the left tackle for being too far in the backfield.
Are these penalties that just drive a coach crazy?
Crazy. Those type of penalties is, I see those, I'm glad I'm up here with you.
Especially this late in the season. You think maybe week 1, week 2. It's just been fair catch after fair catch on these punts, and that's the same situation that time. Nebraska takes back over with a 3-0 lead after a short 32-yard boot. We got Drew Brees, we got Bob Greasy, we got Woodson. Who am I missing out there? I'm sure the Purdue folks tuning in will get us to us quickly.
Another great player.
Another great player, yeah. first down to the ground. Go the Cornhusker. 4-yard gain to the 29. Stopped by Eddie Wilson. We've called Lorenzo Neal's name Eddie Wilson, the other guy inside for Purdue that's very good. And those boys are big, number 7 and number 9. Of course, Lorenzo Neal, that name sounds familiar. His dad, Lorenzo Sr., 16 years in the NFL and 4 Pro Bowls. 2nd and 6 for Lee. He throws it behind J.D. Spielman.
Yeah, when you watch film of this Purdue defense, and they're not overly big, except when you look at those guys inside. 300, 320. Little guy's 280, and that's not small.
Now, there's some big guys on the other side of the football as well for Nebraska, that's for sure. 3rd down conversions, 1 of 7 between the two teams. Tanner Lee, 46 yards on his first pass of the game, 18-6. He is able to complete that, and it's close. It's right near the line to gain as Pearsonell hauls it in. It appears they're going to say he's a touch short.
And I'll tell you, Tanner Lee put that on the money, and there was an unblocked defender coming, and he knew he was going to get hit. Good hit, not too low, not too high by Purdue.
Look at this, they're going for it. Back inside their own 35, it's a sneak, and they got it with Tanner Lee. That's a gutsy call early.
Yeah, it's a gutsy call, but I think it's a reflection of what we talked about before, this Nebraska program and Mike Riley. I don't want to say desperate, but this is a big game. They need to win this game. Not play well, win the game.
A shiver for Mike Riley, a shiver of relief. That will wind the clock down to the end of the first quarter. Nobody's gotten into the end zone. The only point's a field goal from Drew Brown to the Nebraska Cornhuskers. 3-zip after 1 in the books. The one we didn't identify is number 23, Leroy Keys. He was a top target of Greasy back in the day, but there they are, Breeze, Woodson, Keys. Greasy this was in between the quarters. They're running to the tape. Who wins it? Woodson.
Leroy Keys was one heck of a running back. You would thought they'd handicap it and give Greasy a little head start.
Greasy's not known as a runner, so you're right. Probably should have given him a little bit of an advantage. Tanner Lee uncorking one to start the second quarter, and it's batted down over the middle. That was Juwan Bentley who got the left hand on it.
Yeah, he'd have liked to have that. He'd have come out the back door and down that left sideline. Looking right there. Man, I get one-handed. I'm better than that. I got to catch that.
It was heading right for J.D. Spielman. Nice play by Bentley, making his 32nd career start tonight. That's tops for any Boilermaker. Gosh, we had the Morgan 46-yard catch. Worship had a 25-yard run. The other 30 plays in this game have totaled 62 yards. Lee will try to change that here. Incomplete. No flag. DeJuan Hunt on the coverage of Stanley Morgan.
Yeah, he saw the one high safety. He knew he'd have one-on-one coverage outside. Stanley Morgan couldn't beat him over the top, so he threw the back shoulder throw. And he's got the ability to catch that.
Should there have been a flag? Hunt with a left hand there on the shoulder? Was that clean? Are you a let-him-play guy?
I think that was a good no call right there. Yes.
3rd down and 10. Both offenses just searching for rhythm. Purdue rushes 4. And a nice catch and then a lunge by J.D. Spielman. And yet again, he's close. On the last drive, we had this situation. Nebraska went for it when they were just short and got it.
I think he's short.
I think we're going to have the exact same situation as the previous drive. Good attempt by Spielman. As Antonio Blackman was draped all over him, they're going to go for it again.
Remember those big defensive tackles inside.
Do they go sneak again with Lee? No. They hand it off to the first man through. It was Luke McNitt, and I don't think he got it. He's short. Second carry for McNitt, the fullback. And from the spot, he is short.
Yeah, Marcus Bailey, the linebacker, came in there like a shot. Right there. Came from the offensive left side, made the hit in the backfield, and that's a big play. Look at the size.
Yeah, you had Bailey coming on the outside and Lorenzo Neal up the center, and now you've got Tanner Farmer on the ground. So earlier the center, Michael Decker, was down, and that's Tanner Farmer, the right guard.
Watch Marcus Bailey come. Boom. That is a good hit. Wraps his arms, drives all the way through, and knocks him sideways.
On the right side of the screen, you saw Farmer just have his legs bent in. Boy, Decker walked off under his own power. Farmer doesn't look as lucky. Junior from Highland, Illinois.
That's 305 pounds on that ankle.
Just when Nebraska felt like they were starting to get healthy on both sides of the football.
Now, here's a big play. That's like a turnover. All too often, you'll see an offense, they'll go for all the money right here. I like to see a trick play. Come on, Jeff Brom.
You know Jeff Brom likes.
I know, don't disappoint me. I haven't seen one yet. Give me one of those good plays.
Off the play action, he's going for the home run. Oh, it's dropped. Isaac Zico would have had an easy touchdown. Dropped plagued Purdue last week at Rutgers. And another one here.
Not a trick play, but he went for the home run. Play action fake. You talk about wide open. Mike used to coach a receiver drop that. I'd bring him over and say, you want to play guard? Can't drop balls like that and play wide receiver.
Here's a trick play. They flick it back. And Brown able to complete it to Hopkins. So it should have been a touchdown. Then he goes trick play and gets it to Hopkins for 23 yards.
I'm losing my touch. I was one play off there. Went for the home run, then the trick play. Not a way to go, Jeff Brom. I love it. Exciting football.
Hopkins, 16th catch of the season for the sophomore tight end. Quick out to Antrim. Stretches it out to the 21. Lamar Jackson was there, as was Muhammad Berry.
Yeah, Gregory Phillips. Another no-hitter out there. Jeff Brom not going to be happy.
Purdue was moving quickly. Now they take their time before 2nd and 9. Down 3-zip. About 13 minutes left, second quarter from Ross-Ade Stadium. Worship dragged down by a sea of white jerseys after a pickup of 2.
I see what Jeff Brom's trying to do. He's got his wide receiver out there. He's got a rolled up corner. He throws the quick ball out there. The safety who's outside the hash would have to make the play all the way into the boundary, assuming the wide receiver blocks the corner, which he hasn't been getting done.
What does Purdue turn to? 3rd and 7.
Well, I think they'll throw the ball, and I think they'll go up the seam.
Blau is going in zone left side. Flags come in. Chris Jones on the coverage of Anthony Mahungu. And they're going to get the senior Chris Jones for interference.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Chris Jones was beat on the fade, and he grabbed him.
Chris Jones, who missed the first 5 games.
Pass interference. Defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, you can see he grabbed him right away.
He was rehabbing that knee, returned against Wisconsin, still not 100%, and that time the flag comes against him, sets Purdue up nicely. Worship, straight ahead, touchdown, Boilermakers. Purdue on the board with 12:30 left in the half on the 4-yard touchdown run by Richie Worship, and the drop doesn't end up hurting them. They got the 4th down stop. Began the drive in plus territory, had the Zico drop that would have been the touchdown, but they're able to march it in, and Worship finishes it off. Purdue leads. Jeff Brom said he wanted his Boilermakers to run the football more, and Worship got him into the end zone for just the 6th rushing touchdown of the season. And that is last in the conference. Worship's looked good.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised when I saw him on film. I mentioned before against Rutgers, it caught my eye, and one of the first things that Jeff Brom said was, "Hey, we're going to go with the big guy. He's amazing what he can do for that size."
So Purdue has the first lead, 7-3. Also just the second touchdown that Purdue offense has had in the last 10 quarters. J.D. Spielman going to return this, and he's got some space. Oh, just got tripped up.
You do not want to kick it off low to that guy, number 10, J.D. Spielman. He'll hit it north and south quick. If he has a lane, watch out. I saw him against Arkansas State take it back 99 yards. Good player, good young player for the Cornhuskers.
He could have taken that the distance if not for Simeon Smiley just grabbing him by the leg. So what are you seeing from Nebraska on offense that they need to adjust?
Well, you know, they keep talking about they've got to run the football better. They're not running it better. You know, when you talk about running, if they run it on first down, you got to get 4 or more yards. You got to get ahead of the chains. And they're not doing that. And they're in a run formation. They got 1 tight end, 2 backs. That is a run formation.
Just 8 rushing yards total for that Nebraska offense. They're going to go to the air and back to Stanley Morgan to the 37.
Well, my point right there is they line up in a pro formation, 1 tight end, 2 backs, and they run a play-action pass to the X receiver, and it works. When it'll really work is when you're running that ball at 4 or 5, 6 yards a clip, and then everybody's thinking run, and then you come out with that.
First play of the game, the Nebraska offense had 46 yards. Last 21 plays, they've had 46 total. First play of the game for them on offense went to Stanley Morgan. This time they will go to Mikhail Wilbon. So we've seen a heavier dose of Divine Ezigbo. That time Wilbon will get 3 and bring up 3rd and 1.
This is okay. You're now down to 3rd and 1 as long as you're converted. Now, we've seen 2 4th down tries for them in the same distance. One they converted, one they didn't. But, you know, now you have to have, you know, in the old days, if you're Nebraska right here, you know what you're going to get, and you can't stop it. Big offensive lineman coming off and a back running hard, and they're going to pick up the yard.
Ezigbo is back out there in place of Wilbon to the right of Lee, but Lee's going to throw it, and it's incomplete. Flag comes in, though. Josh Okonye thought he had clean coverage in a pass breakup. Looks like he's going to get the flag.
Pass interference. Defense, number 8. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
So it is on the grad transfer from Wake Forest, Okonye.
I'd like to get another look at this.
What do you think?
Awful tight. I guess he sees the right arm hooking him. Good call.
Intended target was DeMornay Pearsonell, who actually tore his ACL here at Ross-Ade Stadium 2 years ago. Good to see him back out there and healthy tonight as Tanner Lee's dragged down, the ball popped free. Nebraska jumps on it. They're still battling for it there. Jalen Robinson was the one to come in and jar the ball free from Lee.
There's a couple problems here. You'll see Tanner Lee. He wants to go to the out, but it's covered, and then the protection is right in his face. I have no idea what 71 was doing there.
A loss of 7. Yeah, Farniok right there should have just gone to the ground with a football. And then you had Nick Gates come over to grab it for Nebraska and save the possession. 2nd and 17. Dumping it off. Ozigbo. It's a little back. 4-yard gain, but still 13 yards to go now on 3rd down after the tackle by Jawan Bentley. Here's our United States Marine Corps leader of the game. Purdue sophomore linebacker Marcus Bailey from Columbus, Ohio. Great GPA, 3.76. Academic All Big Ten. Smart kid, good ball player.
Man, this is 3rd and all day. Draw play, they already tried the screen. Go with the draw.
He's dropping and completing that to J.D. Spielman, and Spielman with a nice cut to pick up the first. Spielman coming off that game where he had a record 200 receiving yards against Ohio State 2 weeks ago.
Well, they got the coverage they wanted. It was man, as I talked about. That makes it clear cut for Tanner Lee. He knows the outside guys will be pushed. He knows the inside guys breaking the out. Great job by J.D. Spielman. The other great job by Tanner Lee putting the ball in the money in a hurry.
Made Antonio Blackman go skating early before the holiday season. 14-yard pickup. 1st down, and now this one is out to Lindsey. First catch for Tyjon Lindsey, and he had to jump cut outside to pick up positive yardage, but was able to do it. See ya.
Yeah.
Cutting inside and dropping Jacob Thiedemann. Everybody's on skates out there. We did have rain yesterday. Some intermittent showers today and light rain. And the temperature's falling to the mid-30s right now. It's football weather. So unless you're in the booth and you have space heater.
It's always football weather.
Spielman in motion, Lee. Oh, they had a hand on him. And that is complete. Hoppus inside the 10. So the flag is down for a probable face mask against Marcus Bailey. And they'll decline that and take the 29 yards.
Oh, yeah. You know, Tanner Lee knew it was a face mask.
Foul. Face mask. Defense number 21. Penalized half the distance to the goal from the end of the run. Automatic 1st down.
So they tack it on half the distance into the play.
But he had a freebie. You know, he knew it was going to be a penalty. That was a face mask, yeah.
Great job by Lee with a chin strap coming up to his mouth to stay concentrated.
So much for running the football, huh?
Now, they threw it 47 times against Ohio State.
Yeah, they were behind.
Yeah,
so.
But Mike Riley just said, like you've been saying, Coach, we can't do that. That's not a recipe for us that's going to be successful. Inside handoff to Divine Ozigbo. He'll take it down to the 3. Stopped by Marcus Bailey, who just had the face mask call.
I mentioned before, I have a hard time. I think everybody has a hard time figuring out why the Cornhuskers are struggling running the football the way they do, because if you go piece by piece and you look at the offensive linemen, are they great? No, but they're pretty good. They're young. If you look at their running backs, they're good. They have receivers out there they spread around. They should be able to run the football better.
Missing a big piece to the puzzle to Trey Bryant, who had surgery earlier this week, as that pass is incomplete. In the direction of Jack Stoll, tight end.
They got two receivers in the same area. And again, he's under duress. Now, someone's wrong there.
I think that may have been intended for Morgan, but you're right. Lee had hit on his previous 5 passes before that incompletion.
Big third down.
7:10 left in the half. Nebraska trying to reclaim the lead. 3 to the left for Lee. Incomplete. In and out of the hands of DeMornay Pearsonell. He can't believe he dropped it.
Yeah, they put trips out to the left. They sent the inside 2 guys out, the outside guy in, hoping for a rub on the people playing man, and he is wide open for a touchdown and drops the football.
Nobody feels it more than number 15. That's a ball he catches 99 times out of 100, if not 999 out of 1,000.
You're wrong. Mike Riley feels it more.
21-yard chippy, and it's up and good. So all 6 points for Nebraska belong to the right foot of Drew Brown. Pearsonell saying that should have been 6, not 3. Only the journey brings you an all-access look inside the Big Ten football season. And Tuesday night, go behind the scenes in Columbus for that fantastic Penn State-Ohio State game. Don't miss an all-new episode of The Journey Big Ten Football 2017, Tuesday at 9 Eastern, right here on BTN. 7-6 Purdue. Let's check in with Michelle.
And the news gets worse for the Nebraska offensive line. Tanner Farmer is on the sideline currently with ice on that right ankle. It doesn't look good for his return. An already beat up Michael Decker was vividly frustrated on the sideline just a couple of drives ago, slamming his fist on the bench. And there's not a lot of communication down here on the Nebraska sideline. A lot of frustration down here, guys.
We talked about the injuries up front. David Neville, he's not playing this week as well. Mike Riley's just trying to piece together a bowl season.
Yeah, you know, when you historically, when you think about Nebraska and you sign on as a player to come to Nebraska, you have thoughts of conference championships, national championships, big-time bowls, and it just hasn't happened as of late.
It's been 20 years since that last national title in 1997. 5 altogether. Their first one coming back in 1970 if you're talking about national championships. Deep ball for Blau. Mahungu lays out but cannot reel it in.
Getting back to our discussions with Jeff Brom, he said one of the big things we have to do, and he has time to throw the ball away, and you got to give him credit. Blau standing in there, he knows he's going to get hit. But for their offense to really work, they have to be able to stretch people vertically, and they haven't been able to do it. It hasn't worked tonight, but they've been open.
They've tried. Second straight drive that they've started with a deep throw. Zico had the drop. That one wasn't really a drop. Would have been an excellent catch by Mahungu. That's batted away at the line. Oh, boy. Freedom Akinmoladun got his hands on it. Then it popped in the air, and Davis came in.
He throws that a little wobbly, and he gets a hand up, and they're very fortunate. Let's go back to those deep throws that have been a little bit overthrown. I think Jeff Brom would say, no, they're not overthrown. We just need receivers that run a step faster, and that's what we want.
That's one of the reasons they moved Jared Sparks out to wide receiver, the converted quarterback, just to try to get some speed out there. 3rd and 10. Purdue is 0 for 4. 3rd downs tonight. That's not going to work. Blau had nothing downfield, steps up, gets dropped by Khalil Davis. Miller was in there as well. And on 4th and 9, another punt forthcoming. Big Khalil Davis, he and his twin brother Carlos, who's number 96, always wreaking havoc on that Nebraska defensive line.
Out of Blue Springs, Missouri.
He's got a vacation home in Blue Springs.
No, but I've been there.
Oh, that's a bad punt by Joe Schopper. Had a great game in Piscataway last week. But that's the worst boot of the season for number 31. It's 26 yards off the side of his foot. And it means that Nebraska is going to start in plus territory with 6 to play in the half. Only the Journey brings you an all-access look inside the Big Ten football season. And Tuesday night, go behind the scenes in Columbus for that fantastic Penn State-Ohio State game. Don't miss an all-new episode of the Journey Big Ten Football 2017, Tuesday at 9 Eastern, right here on BTN. 7-6 Purdue. Let's check in with Michelle.
And the news gets worse for the Nebraska offensive line. Tanner Farmer is on the sideline currently with ice on that right ankle. It doesn't look good for his return. An already beat up Michael Decker was vividly frustrated on the sideline just a couple of drives ago, slamming his fist on the bench. And there's not a lot of communication down here on the Nebraska sideline. A lot of frustration down here, guys.
We talked about the injuries up front. David Neville, he's not playing this week as well. Mike Riley just trying to piece together a bowl season.
Yeah, you know, when you historically, when you think about Nebraska and you sign on as a player to come to Nebraska, you have thoughts of conference championships, national championships, big-time bowls, and it just hasn't happened as of late.
It's been 20 years since that last national title in 1997. 5 altogether. Their first one coming back in 1970 if we're talking about national championships. Deep ball for Blau. Mahungu lays out but cannot reel it in.
Getting back to our discussions with Jeff Brom, he said one of the big things we have to do, and he has time to throw the ball away, and you got to give him credit. Blau standing in there, he knows he's going to get hit. But for their offense to really work, they have to be able to stretch people vertically, and they haven't been able to do it. It hasn't worked tonight, but they've been open.
They've tried. Second straight drive that they've started with a deep throw. Zico had the drop. That one wasn't really a drop. Would have been an excellent catch by Mahungu. That's batted away at the line. Oh, boy. Freedom Akinmoladun got his hands on it. Then it popped in the air, and Davis came in.
He throws that a little wobbly, and he gets a hand up, and they're very fortunate. Let's go back to those deep throws that have been a little bit overthrown. I think Jeff Brom would say, no, they're not overthrown. We just need receivers that run a step faster, and that's what we want.
That's one of the reasons they moved Jared Sparks out to wide receiver, the converted quarterback, just to try to get some speed out there. 3rd and 10. Purdue is 0 for 4. 3rd downs tonight. That's not going to work. Blau had nothing downfield, steps up, gets dropped by Khalil Davis. Miller was in there as well. And on 4th and 9, another punt forthcoming. Big Khalil Davis, he and his twin brother Carlos, who's number 96, always wreaking havoc on that Nebraska defensive line.
Out of Blue Springs, Missouri.
He's got a vacation home in Blue Springs.
No, but I've been there.
Oh, that's a bad punt by Joe Schopper. Had a great game at Piscataway last week. But that's the worst boot of the season for number 31. It's 26 yards off the side of his foot. And it means that Nebraska is going to start in plus territory with 6 to play in the half. Purdue's defense is going to have to bow up. And that's what they've done this year under Nick Holt. What an improvement from a season ago.
Yeah, he's done an unbelievable job. That's why I think this program, one of the reasons this program has been the surprise of the Big Ten. And, you know, I remember way back in spring practice when Jeff Brom made the statement, I think my defense can be pretty good. And I thought, are you crazy? Because I've watched them the last couple of years, and they were terrible.
You were honest. You said that to him yesterday in our meeting. But then you said, I'm impressed, Coach. Nick Holt, one of the guys that he brought over from Western Kentucky, as Nebraska starts this with a pass out to DeMornay Pearson for a gain of 4.
Good coverage, good throw. And, you know, it goes back to what I said before. I really think that Tanner Lee likes to see those man coverages, man-to-man. He knows he can go to one guy and read to see if he's open or not. When it's zone, I think he's got some issues.
Nebraska 2 field goals. They do not have a first-half touchdown in the last couple of games. Didn't have one against Wisconsin or Ohio State. Same so far here in West Lafayette. Flag coming in on the backside as Jalen Bradley gets his inaugural carry of the evening.
That normally means holding.
Here's what came of the conference.
Holding. Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Left tackle Nick Gates.
Yeah, you'll see him right here, the big fella. Let's see what he does. Oh, yeah, he grabbed him outside right away. You can see the right tape on his arm, and he had him hugged up pretty good.
Austin Larkin, the defensive end for Purdue, trying to escape his grasp. Another penalty for Mike Riley and company. 2nd and 16.
I used to tell my guys all the time, you block people with your feet. That's what they call it football, not grabbing and holding.
I like that. That's a good one. Now here on play action, they'll dump it underneath. That's Bradley again. So first series that we've seen the freshman. And he takes it for 8 yards, tackled by Austin Larkin.
Nick Holt there, what an interesting guy to talk to, and went to the same college as Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll hired him at Southern Cal to be the linebacker coach. He's been well traveled, I can tell you that.
He and Brom were under Petrino in Western Kentucky for 1 year. Then Petrino left. Holt stayed with Jeff Brom when he took over. Now they're both here in West Lafayette. 3rd down and 8 for the Cornhuskers. Tanner Lee. Incomplete. Stanley Morgan, the target. Coverage from the opposition's number 8, Josh Okonye.
Yeah, same coverage, one-on-one, and Stanley Morgan's a good size too, 6'1", 195 pounds, and good possession receiver, strong, not overly fast, but you got to get that ball a little bit lower because he's got position on the defensive corner.
They started in plus territory at the 48 and still can't produce a touchdown. Low-scoring affair, 7-6 Boilers with 4 and some change left in the second quarter.
Timeout.
Purdue's defense is going to have to bow up. And that's what they've done this year under Nick Holt. What an improvement from a season ago.
Yeah, he's done an unbelievable job. That's why I think this program, one of the reasons this program has been the surprise of the Big Ten. And, I remember way back in spring practice when Jeff Brom made the statement, I think my defense can be pretty good. And I thought, are you crazy? Because I've watched them the last couple of years, and they were terrible.
You were honest. You said that to him yesterday in our meeting. But then you said, I'm impressed, Coach. Nick Holt, one of the guys that he brought over from Western Kentucky, as Nebraska starts this where they pass out to DeMornay Pearson for a gain of 4.
Good coverage, good throw. And, it goes back to what I said before. I really think that Tanner Lee likes to see those man coverages, man-to-man. He knows he can go to one guy and read to see if he's open or not. When it's zone, I think he's got some issues.
Nebraska 2 field goals. They do not have a first-half touchdown in the last couple of games. Didn't have one against Wisconsin or Ohio State. Same so far here in West Lafayette. Flag coming in on the backside as Jalen Bradley gets his inaugural carry of the evening.
That normally means holding.
Here's what came of the conference.
Holding. Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Left tackle Nick Gates.
Yeah, you'll see him right here, the big fella. Let's see what he does. Oh, yeah, he grabbed him outside right away. You can see the right tape on his arm, and he had him hugged up pretty good.
Austin Larkin, the defensive end for Purdue, trying to escape his grasp. Another penalty for Mike Riley and company. 2nd and 16.
I used to tell my guys all the time, you block people with your feet. That's what they call it football, not grabbing and holding.
I like that. That's a good one. Now here on play action, they'll dump it underneath. That's Bradley again. So first series that we've seen the freshman. And he takes it for 8 yards, tackled by Austin Larkin.
Nick Holt there, what an interesting guy to talk to, and went to the same college as Pete Carroll, and Pete Carroll hired him at Southern Cal to be the linebacker coach. He's been well-traveled, I can tell you that.
He and Brom were under Petrino in Western Kentucky for 1 year. Then Petrino left. Holt stayed with Jeff Brom when he took over. Now they're both here in West Lafayette. 3rd down and 8 for the Cornhuskers. Tanner Lee. Incomplete. Stanley Morgan, the target. Coverage from the opposition's number 8, Josh Okonye.
Yeah, same coverage, one-on-one. And, you know, Stanley Morgan's a good size, too, 6'1", 195 pounds, and good possession receiver, strong, not overly fast, but you got to get that ball a little bit lower because he's got position on the defensive corner.
They started in plus territory at the 48. Still can't produce a touchdown. Low-scoring affair, 7-6 Boilers with 4 and some change left in the second quarter.
Timeout.
Bob Diaco's defense, he's on the left side of your screen there, 44-year-old defensive coordinator, will try to bow up better than they had the last 2 games. But look, those last 2 games, those numbers, they were against Wisconsin and Ohio State. So yes, they gave up a lot, but tough teams.
Yeah, they were making significant progress until they ran into that buzzsaw.
Yeah, the previous 2 games against easier competition, Illinois and Rutgers, 393 yards total. It felt like they were making that progress. And then Wisconsin and Ohio State came to town. Purdue starting with a throw out to Jackson Anthrop for a pickup of 7. Tackled by Ben Stille, big number 95.
Another injury.
For the Cornhuskers, once again, it's a man in the white shirt. That's Antonio Reed, who had been starting in place of Joshua Kalu, who was out with a hamstring injury.
You can see him grimace on the ground.
All the injuries to that secondary, so we documented the offensive line, but they just got Kalu back. They just got Aaron Williams and Chris Jones back. And Bob Diaco was mentioning to us yesterday, he said, finally, we've got our starting secondary back that we originally had this summer, and we thought we were going to start, but all the pieces have been misaligned. Now you have Reed hobbling on.
You know, it's interesting in college football. It seems like some years you go through and you don't have any injuries. In other years, every time you turn around, and a lot of them are freak injuries, and they just, you have 2, then there's 4, then there's 6, and you can't get the guys back healthy.
And with the turmoil and all the discussions swirling around the program, last thing they need is more injuries. Here comes the flag.
Ball start. Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. So 2nd down.
That's on Eric Swingler, left tackle. Stay tuned. Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report coming up. Rick Pizzo, Howard Griffith, and Chuck Long. They'll be along from our Chicago studio and get you caught up on all the games and news in the Big Ten today. And if you've been living under a rock, it was an exciting day in the Big Ten.
Living under a rock?
I don't know. That's what some people say. But what a game in Columbus. What a game between Michigan State and Northwestern as well. Richie Worship on the carry.
Indiana, Maryland.
Yeah, that was a good game, too.
Back and forth.
3rd and 4 coming up. Nebraska get the football back here if they can get the stop with plenty of time and 2 timeouts as well.
Time hasn't been their problem. Let's face it.
They've had 2 red zone trips and 2 field goals as Nebraska. Purdue with a Richie Worship touchdown run earlier in this quarter. Anthrop has the first down, so the Purdue drive will stay alive. And it's going to take a sea of white to stop Anthrop's momentum. They don't even get him down to the ground after a gain of 14. That's a redshirt freshman bowing up.
Yeah, watch it right here. The three receivers to one side, and one guy's on a crosser, one guy's a clear. He gets the ball, and man, he's fighting hard for the Boilermakers. And
Anthrop's been a guy that defenses have been keying in on after a hot start to his career. Return to the ground game, and Richie Worship. The pickup of 8 and a tackle by Joshua Kalu. So 2nd and 2 as the Boilermakers are starting to move the football with pace. Incomplete. Terry Wright that time with a drop.
Yeah, they finally got a good block out there by Gregory Phillips on the quick swing pass, and they dropped the football. Oh, yeah.
Looking upfield.
You block with your feet, you catch with your eyes. Don't forget that.
Terry Wright, Jeff Brom was saying, hey, he's our fastest guy. We want to get him the ball on those plays. You got to haul it in first. 3rd down and 2.
3rd and 2, and you drop the ball like that when the receiver has a block. That's what really stalls the drives.
After putting in motion, and then they handed it to Worship, and he does the job. Out to the 46. Move the sticks. 1st down.
Let's watch it right here. Just get a little blocking. Just an off-tackle power play, but he blocks down. Right guard pulls around, and here comes 260 pounds.
Nice job by that 260-pound back. Worship to step around Dedrick Young, who was coming in for Nebraska. Approaching 2 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. And Blau will dump it underneath on play action. So Richie Worship, we've seen him carry the ball, and he's got a couple of receptions tonight as well. And he says, I need a break.
Well, they're going to play a lot of backs. They said that. You know, they like to rotate them in, keep them fresh, rotate them in early so they're fresh late in the game. And
Knox is back out there. They told us we would see Tario Fuller, who's been out with the ankle injury, but he's yet to get a carry. Jacob Weinmaster with a tackle, then he'll sprint off. Blau trying to keep that right hand warm in the kangaroo pouch on a chilly night.
I would think they'd get 2 downs to get a first hit.
We've got all 3 timeouts. Worship and Knox both in the backfield. It'll go to Knox. He has the first down and he breaks free. But he can't make it to the house. He gets tripped up. Stopped at the 15 by Joshua Kalu. The safety with a touchdown-saving tackle, but that's a gain of 30.
Now, the reason I say 2 downs to get the first down in here, because they probably don't want to punt it, but, you know, if you're a play caller, and Jeff Brom is the play caller, he's the head coach makes a decision on that, and that yard goal is always going to run the football.
And a good decision to do so. In the red zone at the 15, as they start to watch the clock as well. With a full pocket of timeouts, Blau's going to run. And he ekes it down just shy of the 5, tackled hard by Marcus Newby. So now Purdue is going to burn the first of those 3 TOs. After the 9-yard carry by Blau. We'll be right back. 39 ticks left. A timeout taken by Purdue.
You know, it was really impressive here. Jeff Brahma is watching him, and soon as the quarterback took off and running, he's starting to call timeout because he knows if he doesn't go in the end zone, bang, he's going to go timeout right there.
And Marcus Newby, he went down. He was slow to get up. He did just get up and walk off the field. There he is, the senior from Gaithersburg, Maryland. Another guy that has been out with an injury. He missed the Rutgers and Illinois game with a hamstring injury, did Newby.
So if you're Brom, you're talking there, and you say, okay, now we want the touchdown, but we got the field goal. It's a chip shot. So if we're throwing the football, don't take a loss and don't try to force it in there.
Second down and 1.
Full house tee. I haven't seen that in a long time.
And they hand it off to Markel Jones out of that formation. And he gets it down to the 5, first down.
Yeah, you talk about a wide open offense. They were in a full house tee. And I don't think the Big Ten's seen that since Woody Hayes was coaching.
And it picked up the first just enough. Black's going to keep it. Touchdown, Purdue. He faked the give to Worship. And Blau takes it himself. The offense is struggling to move the football. This is an 86-yard drive capped by the run.
Yeah, what a series right before the half. Scoring with 24 seconds. Mixing it up, throwing it, running it, quarterback running it. Impressive.
And it's Spencer Evans on for the PAT. They split the kicking duties. Wasn't the best-looking extra point, but they split the kicking duties between Evans and J.D. Dellinger. That time Evans gets it through after the Blau touchdown run from 5 yards out. Purdue leads by 8. And when the Boilers score, the Purdue All-American Marching Band, they do push-ups. That's pretty good form. I feel like number 3 is cheating a little bit there in the middle. Ross-Ade Stadium, built back in 1924. Back then it seated 13,000. It's grown to 57,000.
Coach Brown would say they haven't been doing enough push-ups lately. That's that problem.
Coming into the game, Purdue had 1 touchdown on offense in the last 8 quarters. It's a squib kick. Is hauled in at the 25-yard line by Stoll. So you got 23 seconds, 2 timeouts. What do you do here if you're Nebraska?
Yeah, when I was in this situation, because, it's only a 1-score game, I would do something. I would tell the offensive coaches, okay, let's run something on first down. Let's run the ball. Let's run a draw. Let's run a safe screen, like that. Now, if we break it to midfield, now we're in full mode 2-minute offense.
Huskers will have it to start the third quarter. Out of the gun. They will hand it off, and tripping Zigbo tried to make a cut and went right down to the ground.
Now, the reason I say that, you've been having trouble running the ball. You got 23 seconds left. What makes you think that all of a sudden you're going to go high gear when you don't have to go 80 yards and score? You run the risk of turning the ball over, interception, disastrous.
And they'll just let the final seconds tick off. That's 3 straight games now that Nebraska's offense has not had a touchdown in the first half.
8 yards rushing. That's got to be the most disappointing thing.
And Purdue with 123 yards on the ground and 2 scores. Stay tuned. Buffalo Wild Wings halftime report with Rick Howard and Chuck coming up from Chicago. To 6 Purdue. 3 days away from Halloween. You get whatever in the crowd. You get chicken suits in the crowd. Nebraska just 2 field goals in the first half. They will receive the ball to start the third quarter. As we take a peek at our Quicken Loans quarterback comparison, it was David Blau staying in the entire first half. No Sindelar. And then on the other side for Nebraska, of course, Tanner Lee.
Yeah, well, Tanner Lee throwing the ball pretty well, thank goodness, because they can't rush the ball or lick, and he hasn't turned the ball over. And, when you look at David Blau, they had a couple home runs that could mean all the difference in the world. So, by and large, I think that they're playing pretty similar to that first half.
Isaac Zico had a drop that should have been a touchdown. Purdue did take it in on that drive. Let's check back in with Michelle McMahon.
Well, to echo Glenn Mason's point, both coaches said we need to run the ball better. Jeff Brom, despite the lead for Purdue, felt that was a huge area of emphasis for him. He said we're not an offensive machine by any means with the pass game, so we need to stick to that run game. All in all, though, Jeff Brom was pleased with the defensive effort on his side. For Mike Riley, he felt the defense needs to have more discipline. Of course, the slew of injuries injuries don't help there. But the biggest area he stressed to me was, we talked about this before the game. If we are running the ball well, we will be winning this game. And clearly, they're not running the ball well tonight, guys.
Their longest run for the Cornhuskers, 4 yards in that first half. Purdue, meanwhile, they have 8 rushes of 5 yards or more.
Well, I go back again, and I know that sometimes it can be skewed because of sacks and whatever, but when you think of any program, not just Nebraska, 8-yard rushing at halftime, and we're talking about Purdue, and they're an improved team, but that's not Ohio State out there. That's not Penn State out there. That's Purdue out there.
And Bill Moose, the AD, who was with us a couple of moments ago, talked about that passionate fan base. They have a great fan base there in Lincoln. It's a heck of a game day experience. All the sellouts. He's hoping that they can get this turned back in the right direction as the kickoff from Evans goes for a touchback. See if Tanner Lee can get it turned to the right direction, at least for the third quarter of this game, and ignite that offense.
Well, you mentioned before that, he had problems with interceptions at Tulane. He started off this year same fashion. As of late, he's done a lot better protecting the football. But the way that things are going right now for him, he cannot afford to make a bad decision.
Time in Tulane, if you add it together, Tulane and Nebraska, 35 touchdowns, 31 interceptions. Not the ratio that he would like to have under his belt at this point, but better the last 3 weeks. Devine Ezigbo starts the second half with a 2-yard carry.
Well, so many people run the spread offense, and, basically they do a lot of things, but you saw that run. It's right out of the spread. The defenses have become really in tune how to play that. Case in point, the 4-3 defense where they play the ends up and take care of the replay. And that's what Purdue's done the whole time.
2nd and 8 for Nebraska. He bobbled it, but gathers. Going up and making a great grab to Mornay Pearsonell right in front of Kamal Hardy.
Well, that was a well-executed play all around. Nick Holt brought the corner blitz, so they're playing man coverage. They picked up the corner blitz. Tanner Lee knew it was man, threw it deep. Pearsonell made a great catch.
37 yards for Pearsonell, who has the Demons and playing here at Ross-Ade Stadium 2 years ago and tearing his ACL, celebrating a teammate's touchdown. They said they need to get he and Tyjon Lindsey the ball more in one-on-one situations, and they were able to do it right there. Lee escaping the pressure, and he lobs it over the top into the hands of Tyler Hoppus. Flag comes in as well. Back at the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Offense. Number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Nick Gates, left tackle.
1 step forward, 2 steps back. That's the second holding penalty of the game.
Well, you'll see him right in the corner right there. And we saw before he gets called holding. He's got him ripped up pretty good. Yeah, he had him gripped up. You even saw him look over his left shoulder, see where the quarterback was. And
too bad, because that was a beautiful lock wedge from Tanner Lee. Move McNitt on the right side of that line. They're heavy over there. Pocket is clean. Purdue only rushing 4 over the middle. And it is complete to Devine Ezigbo.
Please pass complete to us.
Brought down by Garrett Hudson. Garrett Hudson, by the way, you coached with his father, did you not?
Yeah, well, he makes me feel old. I can't believe Garrett's out there playing. When I was at Minnesota, his dad, Greg Hudson, was my defensive coordinator. He was just a little kid running around. In fact, my son, Pat, called me up and said, is that the same Garrett Hudson I see playing for Purdue that used to run around the office and steal candy out of your drawer? I said, that's him.
After that last tackle, Hudson, number 16 for Purdue, came off. So he's not injured, just sitting this play out. Lee makes the give. Fires a fastball to the 30, brought in by Morgan. And then he's tackled by Okoye.
You know, getting back to Garrett Hudson again, though, and talking to Jeff Brom, he says, you know, I just love that kid. You know, he gives you everything he has. He's a hustle guy every day, and he said, just like most coaches' kids. And he's got 2 blocked punts on the year.
And tied for most in the nation in that category. It's a good tackle, by the way, by Josh Okoye in the corner. Grad transfer from Wake Forest. After Morgan got open. Makes it a 3rd and 3 because of that tackle. Wilbon motions out. Empty set.
Quarterback draw.
He's going to throw it. And he has J.D. Spielman. First down, just enough. Spielman knew where he needed to get, the 25, and he got there.
I always think in those 3rd and shorts like that, when they go empty and a linebacker runs with the back going out there, watch out. Here comes the quarterback draw. Puts all the pressure on the defensive lineman.
Antonio Blackman, the safety, tried to keep him shy of the marker, could not. Methodical drive going on 3.5 minutes right now. Lee is 4 for 4 to start the second half. Back to the ground, nothing. A loss of 1. Who else? Juwan Bentley.
Yeah, Bentley shot. They didn't pick him up. And, you know, you're an offensive lineman. You could never let anybody cross your face. And that was the center, Cole Conrad. He looked surprised that the linebacker ran through.
Conrad playing for the injured Michael Decker, who went out in the first half, as did Tanner Farmer at right guard. A lot of shuffling on that O-line for Mike Riley. Underneath is Zigbo. Trying to cut and split the defenders. Hit hard at the 20. Bentley there again, as was Marcus Bailey, the killer bees.
You can say that again. Hit hard. Good position by Bailey. Look at that. He knows he's got help coming from the inside. And that's what you would call a gang tackle. 5 guys rallying to the football.
The All-American marching band trying to get the crowd fired up for 3rd and 6 here at Ross-Ade. Lee over 200 yards, 16 to 25. For the junior from Louisiana.
Here comes the blitz.
Here it does come. Where's it goes? He's hit. And it's batted away in the end zone. Antonio Blackman was able to jar it free of J.D. Spielman. And Tanner Lee got licked as he released it.
Yeah, here came the blitz. They can't pick it up. More guys rushing than they have blockers, and he threw a 50-50 ball up there. And good coverage, double coverage by Purdue. And Nebraska lucky that ball wasn't picked off.
That was Danny Easy-Chukwu, the senior, coming right at him. 37-yard field goal. It's been the Drew Brown show for Nebraska's offense, and that trend continues. The brother of former NFL kicker Chris Brown, who also went to Nebraska, tacks on 3 more, 14-9.
2nd and 7 for Purdue. Michigan 32-yard line.
Get more press man coverage, man free back in the safety, but still. Oh, and the lateral down the sidelines, Carter in the end zone, touchdown! What a call! What a play!
What a play indeed back in 2008. Desmond Tardy scoring on the hook and ladder, and Purdue would win it 48-42.
Well, we've seen one trick play so far by Jeff Brom. Maybe we'll see that tonight.
Hook and ladder, that's one of the best. Richie Worship is going to return this kick for the Boilers. And get it out to the 26. A great game at Rutgers, and he's had a great game here tonight. Michelle?
Brandon, as Purdue looks to get their run game going, they haven't won 4 games in a season since 2012. I spoke to junior running back DJ Knox about this. He said, if we were to win tonight, this would be huge for me personally, but also for this program, a legitimizing step to just show how far this Purdue team has come. I asked him what Jeff Brom has brought to this program. He said, he gives us that extra competitive edge. There is no complacency expected at practice, day in and day out, guys.
We look pretty sharp here tonight. 5-yard carry on first down.
You know, just to build on what Michelle said, when you sit down and you talk to Jeff Brom, there's an air of confidence. There's no smoke and mirrors. There's no hype. I mean, he's just matter of fact, but you know he's got a plan.
6-year-old head coach. Purdue offense, they weren't on the field for 30 minutes on your wristwatch time-wise, but getting back and starting this drive with 2 straight runs. That's 6 yards for DJ Knox.
And, you know, the other thing I'd like to say, it was refreshing to sit in there with Coach Brom. We're in there over a half hour talking to him, and he never once said, we're young. He never once said, we're injured. He never once talked about things he didn't have. He just was, matter of fact, here's where we are, and this is what we're going to do, and we're going to be as competitive as we can be and try to get better.
And both of these head coaches, extremely nice guys. That's in the direction of Gregory Phillips. Flag comes in.
Yeah.
They're going to get Lamar Jackson.
I'm going to tell you, these corners, now Chris Jones has been out injured, you talked before. Lamar Jackson, they get beat right now and bump and run.
Defense, number 21, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Man, you got to be able to run. He can see. He knows he's beat. Receivers beat him on top. Phillips beat him on top, and he's going to run away, so you got to grab him. Can't play that coverage if you can't run.
Second pass interference call of the game against Nebraska. That last one being on Lamar Jackson, who Mike Riley says is going to be an excellent athlete. Or an excellent player. He is an outstanding athlete. He's just raw right now. It's a story for a lot of the guys wearing white. David Blau makes the handoff, finds Gregory Phillips, and again it's he and Jackson one-on-one on the outside. First down, Purdue. Watch Big Ten football wherever you are with BTN to go and Fox Sports Go. Never miss a thing all season long. Available in the App Store and Google Play. Love that app. That's how I prep for our games each week. Watch the film on there. Screen, punt, first down and more after to the 15-yard line. Goes the freshman from right here in West Lafayette, Jackson Anthrop.
Yeah, that's the fire screen that I talk about all the time, where you let the lineman come in and the wide receiver comes right down the line, and then everybody else blocks out, and you try to hit that little tunnel on the inside. Awful tough to stop. The guys that are best suited to stop that are defensive linemen that know what's going on. They turn and run inside out to stop it.
Purdue's third trip to the red zone. Their previous 2 trips have been touchdowns as Terry Wright gets dropped down at the 12. And that's Lamar Jackson who's down.
Once again, Gregory Phillips, the wide receiver, missed the block.
Nebraska cannot catch a break. Lowered the shoulder, and Jackson is down. We'll step aside, 7:32, third quarter. Sophomore corner Lamar Jackson banged his right shoulder, so he's getting worked on the sideline.
Yeah, they're testing his strength. You know, you get that term they used to call in football a stinger, and hurts like heck for a second, but if you get your strength back, you can get cleared to play again.
Things shift around for Bobbiaco's defense. DiCaprio Boodle. Get some time out there. Handoff, Worship right up the gut. Powering his way inside the 5. Chris Webber finally tackling Worship.
You like how that 260-pound guy hammers it in there straight ahead?
He has been impressive tonight. Quick handoff right back to him. Churning the legs. It's close, but he's going to be about a half a yard short.
That was quick. As soon as that official marked the ball in play, it was snapped.
You go right back to him, don't you? They do, but this time it's snuffed out by Marcus Newby. Great play by the senior. Loss of 2.
Tackle by Marcus Newby.
Look right here, come off the backside. You can't account for that guy, and that's when you'd like to have the quarterback pull it and just tiptoe in the end zone.
do on 3rd and goal?
Well, we've been going to, I think they're going to run that underneath route again.
Incomplete. It was Anthony Mahugu. They haven't been able to connect with him all night.
I think they would have got to the fade if they had single coverage, but they didn't. They had 2 guys out there, so they went to the one guy to the flat, one guy to the slant. The ball was thrown behind him.
And behind him, indeed. In front of him, maybe he has a chance to beat the coverage of Chris Jones and get in the end zone. So previous 2 trips to the red zone, Purdue had scored touchdowns. This time they'll try to settle for a 20-yard field goal. But Spencer Evans. Line drive, and Evans converts. So the field goal good, but still a 1-score game at Ross-Ade Stadium. Chilly night in West Lafayette. Crossaway, Neil Armstrong Hall of Engineering, and there is Neil Armstrong. Pretty successful at what he did.
You think?
Just a touch. Along with Glenn Mason, Michelle McMahon, I'm Brandon Gaunt. Lucky to have a great crew. Jim Ressler, our producer. Director Pat O'Connor. Bobby Lanigan, Ethan Cooperson taking care of us up here in the booth. We are lucky guys in the 3rd quarter with 6:24 left. It's still a 1-score game after the field goal. And through the back of the end zone for a touchback. Hoping for a Nebraska win on her 9th birthday. How about those earmuffs?
Like them.
How about the corn? That's a strong play for a Cornhusker fan. Total yards pretty even. Purdue 237, Nebraska 216 as Tanner Lee and company take back over. It's a little early for Santa.
With one exception, stats. Running stats.
That has been the issue, the ground game. Trey Bryant only played 2 games this year. He was going to be a big factor in the backfield. He had knee surgery this last Wednesday. They start through the air. Lee completing it. And dragged down out near midfield, Tyler Hoppus. A gain of 23, so that's a good start for the Huskers.
Yeah, good protection. Purdue came with the bull rush, but the Cornhuskers skated in front of him, and that's close to a horse collar.
But not called. 2 catches for Hoppus on the evening, 16 on the season. And Hoppus is a guy who wasn't a factor the last 2 years, but now a senior from right there in Lincoln. He's really been a good target for Tanner Lee. They'll try to stretch it to the outside. This run works well. Jalen Bradley. So we haven't seen much of the freshman, but they really like his legs and his motor. He gets 13 yards there. And that's their longest run of the night.
Yeah, young guy to Bellevue, Nebraska. If they ever wanted the running game to pick up, it'd be right now. And as you mentioned, the 1-score game.
Marching toward the red zone. They've had 3 trips to the red zone tonight. All 3 resulting in field goals on a bootleg. Hoppus again. Tackled right at the line to gain.
Well, they came out with the naked bootleg, and Hoppus, the tight end, just slammed inside and came in the flat. Wide open. There's no one on him.
Finally coming over, Jacob Thieneman with a nice tackle. Thieneman's having a breakout year. 2nd one, you take a shot here?
Not me. I'm going to pick up the first down the way they've been going tonight.
It's Bradley in the backfield standing to the left of Tanner Lee. He's going to throw. And it's incomplete, wide of DeMornay Pearsonell. Looked like there was some space there. 3rd and 1.
Now, if you don't pick it up here, you got a lot of stress in your life.
So you try the 2nd down pass. Run the ball.
I understand the thinking waist down. That's what they call it. But when the offense isn't working real well, 1-score game. I'd like to pick up the first down and come back and play again.
Will they turn to the freshman Bradley? No. It'll be the junior Lee sneaking it. From where they're running in, it looks like he got it. He did get it.
I'll tell you, though, old Tanner Lee, he was chugging those legs, man.
Got to keep him churning, and he did. He had a sneak in the first half when they went for it from their own 35 on fourth and a couple of feet. And they were able to pick up the first down then. Same results here inside Purdue's 30. Pearsonell motions in tight. Bradley, he's got room out there if he can get to the edge. All the way down around the 10 before he steps out.
Yeah, that's twice now that Bradley has picked up significant yards. Once as a cutback going outside, and the other is just a little counterplay, and then just beating the Boilermakers to the corner.
So he had the 13-yard carry, now a 20-yard run that time for Jalen Bradley. And with Ezigbo and Wilbon struggling to pick up yards on the ground, the freshman producing. To it. Spinning. Ran into the arms of Garrett Hudson.
Man, that was a good play by Garrett Hudson. You know, the defensive tackle and something under, they pitch. The linebacker has to scrape inside out. Easier said than done. Fine play by Garrett Hudson.
And his role has really increased with the injury to T.J. McCollum, who's out again this week. The linebacker, a senior, who they are hoping to get back next week for their bout against Illinois. Second and goal. Bradley switches sides. They give it to him, and he's hit in the backfield and dropped by Jalen Robinson.
Yeah, that's got to be a miscue up front for Robinson to get that deep in the backfield from a defensive tackle position. Someone had to go the wrong way.
Third tackle for a loss tonight for Robinson. 27th of the career for him.
And you saw the frustration by Mike Riley there on the sideline.
So 3 red zone trips, 3 field goals so far for Nebraska. This is red zone trip number 4. They're trying to change the script. Lee throws for the inside in the direction of Spielman. No. 4th down.
Got to kick the field goal.
He had a step on Josh Okonye. And coming into your living room. Indeed, another field goal try for Drew Brown. 25-yarder. He remains perfect tonight.
Man, he has a strong leg.
The kick is good.
Just like his brother Chris. 4 trips to the red zone, 4 of these for the Cornhuskers. The latest Nebraska field goal cuts the Purdue advantage to 5 with 2:06 left in the third. Time for an injury update. What do you have, Michelle?
And Brandon, as Nebraska came up short on that last drive, the news gets worse on the offensive line front. Number 79, their starting center, Michael Decker, will not return to action. He is no longer in game gear in his warm-ups, and certainly a loss there. But a lot of communication from him on the sideline. He's keeping things positive, and certainly a good voice of reason for Cole Conrad.
Next man up. Cole Conrad's been out there for a while. DJ Knox a chance to return it. Across the 30. And out to the 44 goes DJ Knox. The kicker, Drew Brown, had to make the tackle after a 35-yard return.
Yeah, good job there. He feels it. I like when they take it right north and south. Good blocking. Normally have to beat one guy, which he does. Good return. And they needed that because you felt like momentum, and we're only in the third quarter, but momentum had gone to Nebraska. And when that happens, you got to get it back, you got to counter, and you got to counter with your offense or the special teams, which they did right there. Excellent field position.
Bob Diaco's defense, which has been pretty good, looking to stay stiff here. Markel Jones spun forward by Alex Davis on the big key at midfield, a gain of 5.
You know, I think that the success of Nebraska coming here at the end is going to be, can the corners play this press cover that they're playing?
Stacked receivers, Terry Wright. Nice move by Terry Wright. They can't bring him down. Just pushed out of bounds eventually by Marcus Newby.
Another injured player.
11-yard gain for number 9. That's Eric Lee. He came in for the injured Lamar Jackson, and now he's down to the ground. It was Newby, his own teammate, coming in here at the end and popping him.
It's a tough game.
But Eric Lee, who had been starting in place of the injured Chris Jones earlier in the season, Jones is back, so Lee relegated to the bench. Jackson gets hurt. Lee out there, and now he's down.
I was thinking before when Michelle was talking about that Michael Decker was in street clothes, but he was a voice of reason for Cole Conrad as replacement. The voice of reason is, Cole, you can't get hurt. There's no one else go in. So you better, if you get in, you better just suck it up. I don't know who else goes in.
That's how they are at a number of positions on the offensive line as they shifted things around. That's going to be more time for DiCaprio Boodle at that corner spot for Nebraska. AP top 10. Penn State, Ohio State, that was a headliner with the Buckeyes roaring back at the end to win it by a penny. And the two leads that you see there, Clemson, Oklahoma, those are at halftime right now.
How about the Cyclones? 2 losses on the year. Tough loss to Iowa, tough loss to Texas.
But then a couple of big wins, Oklahoma and TCU. Diving attempt. Gregory Phillips couldn't haul it in.
Yeah, you saw Dedrick Young, man coverage running with him. And man, he catches that full stride. That's a mismatch. You talk about a matchup that you like your receiver against the middle linebacker on a crossing route.
David Blau, 4th start of the season. Yet to see Elijah Sindelar, who started the last couple of games for Purdue. High arcing spiral. Another drop. Jared Sparks. That's been the story for Purdue a lot this season.
You know, I know a lot of long-term Purdue fans remember when Drew Brees was here and those wide receivers they had. Those guys never dropped the ball like that, ever.
Perfect pass. Jones fell. Gives Sparks a little bit of a break, being a converted quarterback. Still getting the grips and everything figured out at wide receiver. Crossing over the middle, Gregory Phillips. Open field tackle. Keeps him shy of the line to gain. It was Joshua Kalu, the talented safety, the senior.
Brandon, you mentioned we've not seen Elijah Sindelar yet. I think a large part had to do with how David Blau played in that last series with all the pressure on the game against Rutgers. Now, they came up short on the 2-point play, but man, did he perform well under pressure.
They're going for it. Would be a 51-yard field goal. Instead, 4th and 4, the offense out there. Will they actually snap it? Yes. Oh, wide open. Phillips, first down. Into the red zone. Flag on the ground as well. So hold everything. Mike Riley knows that this is against Purdue. The conference taking place as we wait to hear from Don Willard.
I'm sure they called the pick route.
Pass interference. Offense, number 33. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, 4th down.
Yeah, the pick on Jackson Anthrop called for offensive pass interference. And an angry Jeff Brom.
Yeah, you'll see it right here. He'll come out, and he's in a pick right there. I think it's a good call. Yeah. You know, you always used to see the pick with receivers coming inside and the receiver going outside. Well, guys have got pretty smart. They've done it the opposite way now, but versus man coverage, I know Jeff isn't very happy right there, but I think it's a good call.
So with the penalty, they're not going to go for it on 4th and 19, obviously, with 26 seconds left in the third. Joe Shopper. Oh, he's going to fake it, throw it. Incomplete. Is there a flag? Yes, they're going to get interference.
Pass interference.
DiCaprio Boodle was out there in coverage. Jared Sparks, the intended target.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, this is really tough on the man outside because he doesn't know it's a punt. He becomes a blocker. He's trying to keep that guy from going down to cover the punt. He has no idea that it becomes a pass. He still doesn't know.
And that normally would have been Lamar Jackson or Chris Jones out there. DiCaprio Boodle with the injuries. And he had to play safety last week, did Boodle, or 2 weeks ago against Ohio State. He got called for the penalty there in a bad one.
I love the trickery. I told you, the guy's a sneaky guy. Great guy, Jeff Brom. Sneaky.
Well, punter Joe Shopper ran for a 1st down on a fake punt last week. This time, Blau is keeping it. Fooled everybody. Into the red zone before he's brought down by Markel Dismute.
See, I think this play right here is an extension when we saw it down on the goal line when you saw the defensive end close and tackle it. And I mentioned, I said, you know, if he would have kept the ball, he tipped on the end zone. Those guys upstairs saw that. Right situation, they did it again.
3 quarters in the books. Purdue up 5 and marching. Looking to expand to that lead and make it a 2-score game. 4th quarter coming up from Ross-Ade Stadium. Both teams told us this week we have to run the football better. And as we head to the 4th quarter, Purdue, they have run the football better.
170 yards through 3 quarters. I think that Jeff Brom and his offensive staff would be very happy. They're going in the right direction, and not so much for the Cornhuskers on the other side of the field.
The job right now for Nebraska is try to hold Purdue to 3. Good atmosphere on a chilly night. We got Waldo. There he is. We've seen Santa, Kool-Aid. We've seen the Chicken Man.
I don't know. I don't know how you know all these characters. I have not misspent youth.
Look, there's Will Ferrell.
Neil Armstrong.
And there's Neil Armstrong, right?
Santa Claus.
Santa, you need to keep that hat in the beard.
UCLA, you didn't do so well today.
And mustard without ketchup. So the 4th quarter begins. Ball inside the red zone. Blau is going to keep it again. Did that a moment ago for a much better gain. He takes it down inside the 15. So Lamar Jackson is back. Now he's nursing that shoulder injury. He's still trying to work that out.
Yeah. You know, when I see a guy like that, I'm not saying they're going to do it right here, but when guys like that, I'm going to test him deep. He may be thinking more about his little injury than covering me on the fade route.
Blau went for 3 yards, 2nd and 7. Looking to the right. Got it to Anthrop. Stretches it across for the Purdue touchdown.
One of my impact players right there. David Blau, he's fired up.
The red-shirt freshman, the local product, getting in and making it a two-score game.
Yeah, all those blocks, if ball's caught behind the line of scrimmage, they can block downfield. And that young man's got some quicks.
He did not have a touchdown the last 4 games. Defenses have really been keying in on Jackson Antrim. So all 4 of his touchdowns came early in the season until that one right there. Extra point good by Dellinger. Purdue's first 4 drives, they had 4 punts. The last 5 drives, 3 touchdowns and a field goal. And Antrim with a return into the end zone for the first time in 5 weeks. He's a legacy. Brothers play here. Jackson, the young buck, stretching that one across to make it 24-12 with 14:23 left. That's a good sign for Jeff Brom when your freshman is leading the team in touchdowns and receptions.
That's a good sign, huh? It's a good sign for the future.
For more on Jackson, let's bring Michelle back in.
Yeah, guys, Danny, his brother, wrote a nice article about Jackson Antrim earlier this year, and he said he was so impressed about his brother, who just came under the radar and proved everybody wrong. Somewhat of an underdog in his career, but he's certainly making a name for himself here as a local product at Purdue.
Plays like that, you better believe he's making a name for himself. Spielman. He had a 99-yard touchdown return earlier in the year, week 1 against Arkansas State. That time he gets it out to the 30. Here's our SoFi in the Huddle, brought to you by SoFi, the preferred financial partner of the Big Ten Conference.
Well, after that last score, things have changed, so you're over there and say, hey, we're going to run our offense. We're going to keep doing the things, but we can't waste time because we got to score, we got to stop them, and we got to have enough time to get back again.
Tanner Lee charged with trying to bring Nebraska back from a 12-point deficit, 18-30. Just under 240 yards passing for Lee. Takes the give. And that's a dangerous ball in the direction of Pearson L. Okonye, diving attempt at an interception, knocks it down.
Yeah, you can see they had the corner over the top, and Okonye, he fell right underneath that. And a lot of times the quarterback will lose track of where that corner is. He figures he's going to go up on the swing man, but he fell back just like he should. You can break up on the guy in the flat. If they throw that in the hole, the corner can't take care of it.
2nd and 10. Underneath to Bradley. Set up the screen and let Bradley do the rest.
Pass complete to Bradley.
10 yards.
Yeah, you know, time's a ticking, guys. And, you know, you got to be impressed with Jalen Bradley so far. I mean, he gives them a little spark, a little different dimension, but I don't like how much time they're wasting in the huddle here.
Now they break that huddle. Bradley, 52 total yards. Bulk of that coming here in the second half. Play action. Underneath, once again, Bradley made a man miss. Gets into Purdue territory. He shook Antonio Blackman, and then gets across the 50, 13-yard gain.
Yeah, he's effective at what they're trying to do. Runs the ball, he catches well, and he's a full-speed player. Not the biggest guy, 6 foot, 180 pounds, but he's playing big.
From the Purdue 47. This time on the ground with Bradley to the 44, a gain of 3. 13 minutes left. Bradley was the top skill player in the state of Nebraska last year. You mentioned he's from Bellevue, an hour away from Lincoln. 7 rushes coming into the game, but he has been solid here in the second half for Mike Riley. All of his yards have come here in the third and the fourth quarter. DeMornay Pearsonell dragged down 2 yards shy of the marker by Kamal Harding.
Yeah, Harding, that was a nice tackle. Nice pass by Tanner Lee. Gives him a chance. He gets out there in a hurry to square bump, do something, but good defense. Couldn't do anything.
7 of 23 combined and 4 down territory, you would think.
No. I know. No way.
I was going to say, what, Coach? Bradley out. Wilbon in the backfield now, along with Lee. He's got it. Yep. Safe pass to Mikhail Wilbon, who was wide open. Easy first down, and then a tackle by Danny Izuchukwu, gain of 12.
Yeah, he was wide open. Even when he ran out in the flat, he was wide open, and he came on the under route. There was no one accounting for him.
And the field goal, of course, doesn't help because that would only get you down to 9, so it would still be a 2-score game. Four field goals tonight. That's all that Nebraska's been able to muster against this Purdue defense. Oilers rush 5 in the direction of Hoppus. He's got it. Touchdown, Nebraska. Tyler Hoppus.
Please pass complete to Tyler Hoppus. Touchdown, Nebraska.
27-yard touchdown reception, his second of the season, and don't go away yet. Nebraska's right back in it.
Yeah, Tanner Lee put this ball in the money. Look, he's leaning back. He throws it from his heels, but he put the ball right on the money.
It took Nebraska 58 plays to find the end zone in this game, but they got there. And Drew Brown, who has all the other points, tacks on the PAT. Tanner Lee, 14th touchdown pass of the season. Hoppus into the end zone. We got a ball game in West Lafayette.
Why did
Hoppus on the left. He just caught the touchdown pass from Tanner Lee on the right. Tanner Lee now at 306 yards passing. Most of his Nebraska career, which tops the 303 he had 2 weeks ago against Ohio State. You look at the last 4 games for Lee now, 7 touchdowns, just 1 interception. Hasn't thrown any tonight. DJ Knox had a great return earlier in this game. That one not so good as he's brought down shy of the 20. Wednesday on an all-new Sports Light with Mike Hall. You won't want to miss Mike's sit-down interview with Barry Alvarez, who breaks out a phenomenal Lou Holtz impression, explains his love for the musician Pitbull. Oh, I can't wait to see that indeed. Sports Light with Mike Hall, Wednesday at 11 Eastern right here on BTN. You're a big Pitbull fan, right, Coach?
He's a big Miami guy. You know, come on. I'd like to see Barry imitate Pitbull, too. You get the sunglasses out, the whole deal, huh?
I would really like to see that.
You didn't even think I knew who Pitbull was, see that?
Kid, I know you know. I don't doubt you. Swinging out, the ball is on the turf, but it's incomplete. We have not had a turnover in this game. That almost changed right there, but no.
Man, that was close. Let's watch it. They swing it out. Here they come. Incomplete. Again, those receivers have got to do a better job locking downfield.
Markel Jones breathing a sigh of relief that he didn't have the football long enough before being hit by Marcus Newby. So it just makes it 2nd and 10.
They're going to look at it.
And now they are going to look at it.
I don't even think it's close.
So they're going to take a peek at it. And a man that we like, that we haven't had a chance to visit with all night, Dick Honig, back in the Chicago studio. We're going to have a chance to bring him in here as we get a look at the replay. Riley.
With passes and catches in regular speed. You cannot go in slow motion. You can make anything a catch in slow motion, but you have to have possession, something down, and time. And I don't think you have time here.
Taking a look at it right now, Dick, that 3-step process you just mentioned. Yeah, I think you and Coach Mason are exactly right. That was a pretty good look at it right there. And they have looked at it, said incomplete, so 2nd and 10. And the trend of no turnovers continues in this ball game.
Boy, if the Boilermakers ever needed to mount a little drive, it's right now.
They've had 5 total drives this half and 5 scores. 24-19 Purdue. Chris Webber with a tackle after a gain for DJ Knox of 5. Big play here.
Bobby Diaco liberally substituting on defense.
Big 3rd and 5. 23% on 3rd down conversions in Big Ten play for Purdue this season, and that's worst in the conference.
Given the look of man coverage, here comes the blitz.
There it comes, right up the middle with Davis, and that forces Blau to throw it incomplete. Carlos Davis almost came unabated.
Yeah, and I tell you, he almost threw it right to Chris Webber.
Bob Diaco liked it.
Yeah, he saw Chris Webber. He had a better chance at catching it than Purdue did.
So Nebraska's defense does its job. Remember, Pearsonell was an All-American punt returner way back in 2014. He hasn't had the same success since.
People kind of forgot about him. I agree with you.
But he's good back there. Speaking of good, yeah, Joe Shopper. His best-looking punt of the night. Fair caught at the 38, 41-yard punt, no return. 10:05 left. Next Saturday, another great slate of Big Ten football coming your way. A doubleheader of action on BTN and the battle for the Little Brown Jug on Fox. It all begins with BTN Tailgate next Saturday on BTN and Fox. Also streaming live, of course, on BTN To Go and Fox Sports Go.
And we will be out in the great state of New Jersey.
Maryland and Rutgers. That's where our crew indeed will be next week for a 3:30 Eastern tip. So 24-19, Purdue clinging to the 5-point lead, but Nebraska's defense forced the punt, and now they start this drive inside their own 40. Lee putting it up, no, but a flag in the direction of Morgan, and they may have gotten Navon Mosley.
I didn't even think he was close to him.
Mosley, the sophomore, number 27 for Purdue. Was it against him?
Prior to the pass being thrown, holding, defense on an eligible receiver, number 3. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
It's not on Mosley. It's on Kamal Hardy.
Yeah. He came in from left field. You can't see it. It must have been right at the beginning, but...
That was Hardy, and then Mosley, the safety, coming for help over the top. So moving the ball out near the 50. Give it to Bradley. Tackled at the 49.
Yeah, Nick Holt, the defensive coordinator for Purdue, they brought that corner blitz a few times, and it hasn't been effective. By effective, I mean the corner hasn't made the play, but when you do that, you can slant everybody else down inside.
That's not a sight that Purdue wants to see. Juwan Bentley down. And Nick Holt, he has to be concerned about number 4. The leader of this defense. Eight tackles tonight, a team best 61 on the season. 32nd career start for Bentley. We'll take a quick break. Football on BTN is brought to you in part by State Farm, here to help life go right. Across the way, outside of Mackey Arena, the John Wooden statue before all of his success at UCLA. He had some success in the state of Indiana, including here at Purdue. But right now, it's all about the gridiron. Bentley went off with the injury for the Boilermakers. Now Nebraska picks things back up. And J.D. Spielman got caught by Marcus Bailey. And the ball dropped free, but it's just incomplete. Bailey said, hey, my buddy Bentley's on the bench. I'm angry.
Yeah, you run that fire screen. You don't expect somebody to be unblocked coming inside out. Spielman can't see it coming because he's looking the ball in. And whoa.
Force the incompletion to bring up 3rd and 9. Here they come. Down goes Lee. Once again, Marcus Bailey. Helping him out, Danny Easy-Chukwu.
You talk about two big defensive plays by the Boilermakers. The play, the big hit on the fire screen, and then bringing the blitz and getting to Tanner Lee for the sack.
12-yard loss, and the Purdue defense celebrates. Bailey leads the team in sacks. 4th and 21. Nebraska will have to punt with just inside of 9 minutes remaining. Anthrop, who had the last Purdue touchdown, calls for the fair catch. David Blau brings out the offense. Trying to get Purdue their 4th win of the season. The junior from Carrollton, Texas. It's been all him tonight. No Elijah Sindelar. Richie Worship stuffed. Let's check back in with Michelle McMahon.
Well, guys, prior to the offense coming out for this drive, David Blau was the most vocal leader on the sideline, saying we have to do the little things right, guys. And after that defensive drive, these guys are nothing but smiles. Not one player on this team has had 4 victories in one season here at Purdue, guys.
Nebraska also looking for their 4th win of the season. It's a big game for bowl eligibility with 5 weeks left. Low throw. Did he haul it in? He did. Gregory Phillips, nice catch. Took it off the blades of the grass here at Ross-Ade Stadium.
Yeah. They got it back to a workable yardage now. Big 3rd down.
Nebraska defense at times has come up big, at times they floundered. And they bow their necks here on 3rd and 3.
One high safety, anticipating blitz.
Handoff, Worship. Short. He is short. Is Richie Worship. Carlos Davis got there first. Ben Stille was in the mix as well for Mike Riley and that Bob Diaco defense.
Really good play by the Cornhuskers. You don't see that guy get stood up and knocked backward very often.
Also need to give a big hat tip to Chris Weber at 240 pounds, meeting 260-pound Worship. 500 pounds a man, and Weber won the battle. So Nebraska has forced 2 straight 3-and-outs. .42-yard punt, no return, less than 7 to play. Tanner Lee thrown for a season-high 306 yards, touchdown, no picks, and he'll be charged with trying to lead Nebraska down the field to take the lead.
Yeah, this would be a great situation. I think he's played pretty well tonight. Talked about the absence of a running game, but he's controlled and made some big plays. And, you know, with 6:52 left, if he could mount a drive and put him in the end zone, could turn their whole season around.
A season with the ups and downs, the change in athletic director. Mike Riley on the hot seat. Looking for a win on the road. That's a nice pass by Lee into the hands of Stanley Morgan. Morgan staying upright all the way to the 49. It's a 28-yard pickup.
Yeah, you talk about plays that look good. The whole thing looked good here. The routes look good. The protection looks good. Tanner Lee, the way he came out there and threw on the move and put the ball right on the money, very impressive.
Stanley Morgan's been the guy tonight in the receiving department. 5 catches, 98 yards. He's been the man all season. He leads them in receptions, yards, and touchdowns.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see Nick Holt go to some blitzing. See, that's what he's done. I think he thinks when they get it going a little bit, he puts a little pressure on.
Play action. Well, Purdue wanted to hold it. They're going to get one. This is going to be wiped out. Zigbo with the reception, but Purdue's Jalen Robinson was being held by Cole Conrad.
Yeah, you know, the backup center, he's in there. He's the guy that missed the block on the fire screen before.
Holding. Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
That's the backup center, Cole Conrad.
Yeah, you see him right in there. And they're going to get him using his hands. Oh, yeah, he's got it right around his neck.
Had the hand inside the shoulder pads. 4th holding penalty tonight for this Cornhusker offense. Backs him up 1st and 20. Clean pocket for Lee. But he had nobody to go to. Dumps it off underneath, and Zigbo drops it.
Yeah, you can see he was looking left the whole time. Good coverage by the Boilermakers, and he came back right late. Drop ball, but there wouldn't have been much anyway.
It's been a good one from West Lafayette. Glenn Mason and Michelle McMahon. I'm Brandon Gaudin with 5:37 left in the 4th.
And a 2nd and 20.
The chilly late October air. Purdue rushing forward. The pressure gets there. Buck Lee is able to complete it to Spielman. There might have been a face mask on the end of that. Yes, there will be. Flag comes in. Tack that on to the end. And Nebraska's in business.
And you got to appreciate Tanner Lee, because I'll tell you, he got waylaid as he delivered that football.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense number 3. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Watch it right here. He kind of floats into the pressure, but he knows he's going to get hit. Gave it to J.D. Spielman. Here comes the defense. Gets north and south and up. They got him. Hardy got his hand out there and pulled the face mask.
2nd penalty this quarter for Hardy. He got a full hand of face mask there. Things getting tense here at Ross-Ade Stadium in the red zone. Goes Nebraska after the penalty. Oh, the fake throw and the handoff. They give it to Spielman this time on the ground, but Purdue was there.
You know, we've talked about that guy right there, J.D. Spielman. From the moment I saw him against Arkansas State in the opener, this guy is something special. Just a young guy, but, you know, you want to put the ball in his hands as much as you can. He plays that slot receiver, but excellent position to run the jet sweep or the reverse.
Adopted son of Vikings GM Rick Spielman. Uncle Chris Spielman, of course. Gets a breather right here, though. 2nd down. Handoff. Pretty good hold right side. Down to the 15 goes Jalen Bradley. A Fournier and Robinson combining on the stop, so 3rd and 5. 3rd and 6 officially. The tension mounting on both sidelines.
You know, now as you're a coach, you get down here, is it 4-down territory, or do you kick the field goal and have confidence in your defense to be able to come back and then win on a field goal?
The clock is now inside of 4 minutes.
That's why they pay the head coach the big bucks to make those decisions.
Lee, in and out of the hands of Wilbon. Even if he had caught it, he was going to be dropped right at the 15 by Bailey.
Well, it looks like they're going to go for it.
It'll be a 32-yard field goal. You have the 2 timeouts, but the offense is staying out there.
So now if you're Nick Holm, do you play coverage or do you light him up? Simple as that.
What do you think he does?
All indications he's going to play coverage right here, but now he's walking down. They're going to come after him.
They do. Lee throws for the end zone. Incomplete. Is there a flag? No. Antonio Blackman on the coverage. J.D. Spielman was pleading to get a yellow flag out. No such luck.
Yeah, I think it was good coverage. Good no call.
Mike Riley certainly wanted the flag. And Nebraska, coach, they've had 5 red zone trips and no touchdown.
Yeah, and then, you know, that's the problem. Now you score the touchdown and you made the right decision. You don't, then you start saying, geez, especially if you hold Purdue to 3 plays right here and get out. You know, you think, still got a chance to win, but all I need would be a field goal.
Tossing it out to DJ Knox. That's a good first down gain for Purdue. Out to the 22. So 2nd and 3. And the clock ticking. Play clock still at 20. So you would think that Purdue would just take their time here, and that's what they'll do. Blau was up like he was ready to snap it. Now he's just looking over the sideline to Jeff Brom. Snap comes with 2 on the play clock. Back to Knox. A crease and a first down. Now the window of opportunity getting smaller for Nebraska.
Yeah, you got to start using your timeouts. No use getting on the plane, taking them home with you.
Yeah, that won't do you any good. Knox 66 yards on 9 carries. He had a season-high 13 carries, 84 yards last week in the loss to Rutgers. They take Knox out and bring back in Worship, who is behind Blau in the pistol, and it will be the big back. Cruising ahead just for a yard. So now Nebraska takes their 2nd timeout with 2:20 remaining.
Well, if you're Jeff Brom and you're talking to your offense, you know you're going to run the ball to keep the clock going, and you like to pick up a first down and the game's over. But the main thing is you're telling those guys, you secure the football. Don't start fighting for that extra inch and holding the ball out there. You protect the football, because unless we turn it over, all odds are we're going to win this football game.
Both teams hoping to go bowling. This is what is coming up after tonight for Purdue. Illinois at home, 2 trips on the road to Evanston, Iowa City, and then finishing it off with the Old Oak and Bucket against Indiana. 3 wins last year. Jeff Brom coming in the first season. A lot of people felt overachieved, and then the first real hiccup of the Jeff Brom era was in Piscataway last week. They felt that was a game they should have won.
But Illinois played better today. Northwestern won in triple overtime. It's November. It's going to be November, put it that way.
We're on the doorstep of November, October 28th.
Man, has this season gone fast.
You blink, you miss it. One timeout left for Nebraska. They're just going to do a straight keep here. Blau dropped right around the 30. And there goes the last timeout of Nebraska. Here's what's left for the Huskers. Northwestern then at Minnesota. Tough one, of course, at Penn State. And Iowa, who has now improved to 5-3. That game on November 24th. If you drop this one, those bowl chances become pretty tough. Certainly still possible, but the road gets much tougher.
3 and 4. Real tough.
And look, just calling a spade, Mike Riley's seat gets a lot hotter if you lose this game.
Yeah.
.2:15 left. And Purdue facing a 3rd and 7. If they convert here, ball game. Junior David Blau hands it off to Worship, and he's going to be dragged down well short of the line to gain. So Nebraska will have another opportunity. Nick Stoltenberg with a tackle. So Jeff Brom will probably let that play clock go all the way down and take a timeout, right?
That's what I would do. Coach your punt team up, get the ball off.
So while Jeff Brom waits, we tell you this. Next Saturday, the pregame show for Big Ten fans comes to you from Iowa City. BTN Tailgate presented by Chase Sapphire Reserve. Next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on BTN. Clock officially stops with 1:29 left.
Stranger things have happened, my friend.
Big spot for the punter, Joe Shopper. He's got to be the most nervous man in the stadium right now just to kick this away cleanly.
You ever seen the punter drop the snap? I have.
You're trying to create drama.
No, I'm just... She ain't over till she's over, baby.
It has been an air-free game as far as turnovers are concerned. We haven't had a single one. Shopper, the junior from Indianapolis.
And let's not forget who's back to return the punt.
Mornay Pearsonell. He could be electric.
And they go to return.
Shopper getting it away easily. And a fair catch, so no chance to return it for Pearsonell. And here comes Tanner Lee. 361 yards passing tonight. Last time Nebraska had a 400-yard passing game 2 years ago on this field. It's actually a 55-45 Nebraska loss. Riker Fife had that game under center.
Well, they got to do it without timeouts.
And 1:22 remaining, down by 5. Purdue bringing 4 underneath, complete as Zigbo. Smart decision, runs right to the Purdue sideline.
Got out of bounds. They've got to assume that they're going to get zone coverage. They're going to rush 4, maybe even 3 sometimes. if you get some crossing routes like that, I wouldn't be surprised to see Nick Holt rush 3 and drop somebody out.
7-yard reception for Zigbo, 2nd and 3.
Most importantly, get out of bounds.
The last play took just 6 seconds off the clock. What a catch! Hoppus!
And out of bounds.
And out of bounds indeed. 16-yard grab. That one sort of flirted with disaster, but right over the fingertips into the hands of Hoppus.
Now, I talked about, from a defensive standpoint, you want to play zone because you don't want to give up the quick one. But if you can't stop them, then you got to say, hey, you know what? I got to go back because the blitz pressure has been effective.
Hoppus is over 100 yards receiving for the tight end. Okoye almost batted that last pass down for Purdue, but not tall enough. Down to the left side, complete to Pearson L. And so far, this has been a thing of beauty for Nebraska and Tanner Lee.
Yeah, good job by the Husker offensive line. They're picking up the twist stunts on the inside and gimme throws on the outside, and Tanner Lee's putting the ball right on the money.
You're already to the 35. Even though you don't have any timeouts, you still have 67 seconds remaining.
That's a lot of time.
Still want to play sideline, though, right?
Absolutely. Or end zone.
Lee out left, stretching, and getting out to Minus Zigbo. He's dragged by Kamal Hardy, but he was able to stop the clock after a 6-yard pickup.
When is Nick Holt going to do something different? You know, as this ball gets closer to the goal line, you don't have to worry about the deep ball as much. You have to worry about the fade, but not the deep ball.
Tanner Lee's over 400 yards.
Here comes the blitz. Zone blitz.
Yeah, they zone blitz it indeed.
Yeah.
Pass complete. J.D. Spielman in the red zone.
Yeah, short blitz, dropped out, played zone blitz, and put pressure on the quarterback, but Tanner Lee still put the ball on the money.
Clock winds on the ready. Snap coming for the 19. Zigbo escapes one, escapes two. Tries to get out of bounds. But he cannot. Brought down inbounds by Kamal Hardy. Tanner Lee 6 of 6 on this drive as the clock winds down to 30 seconds left.
Time's the essence. Either clock it or get a play.
They finally get out of Lee's way. Takes a shotgun snap. And he's hit as he throws, incomplete. Nice job that time, Eddie Wilson, to get in there and apply the pressure.
Well, here you see the play where he throws it outside. And it looks like stayed up. Close to getting out of bounds.
Yeah, it was close. They kept the clock rolling, so now 18 seconds left. A drive that has gone 57 yards on 7 plays so far. Coming down to the nitty-gritty in West Lafayette.
It's a little surprised to go with a single wide here.
Lee over the middle. Caught. Touchdown. Stanley Morgan. Nebraska leads it. With just 14 seconds remaining, Tanner Lee, who's had a career day, finds his favorite target, Stanley Morgan, to put Nebraska in the driver's seat. And now they're going to go for 2. No reason to go for 1 here, in case Purdue would somehow get into field goal range.
Got to go for 2 if you got the card, and the only thing you worry about is throwing a pick going the other way.
That last passing attempt for Tanner Lee was his 50th of the game.
Well, Mike said they didn't want to throw at 47 tonight.
2-point conversion try. Lee has nobody. flings it up incomplete in the direction of Pearson L. 14 seconds left now for Purdue to try to make a miracle happen on the other end.
Man, has Tanner Lee had a night. No pressure, puts the ball right on the money. Three-man rush, playing coverage.
And Stanley Morgan, who had a 46-yard reception on Nebraska's opening play, and then a 13-yard touchdown reception on what will likely be their last offensive play.
431 yards passing.
192 of those in this fourth quarter, including 2 touchdowns.
Well, they put Tanner Lee on the move, and he bought as much time as he could, and really nothing there.
For as much heat as Tanner Lee received early in the season for the struggles, the interception, he has to feel pretty good right now.
Yeah, you know, you got to credit a guy for the heat that he took and hanging in there. You know, I mean, that's off to
Richie Worship. But also watch the clock as he's tackled with 10 seconds left. 19-yard return. Now there is J.D. Dellinger, one of the kickers for Purdue. They also use Spencer Evans. But Dellinger would be the man to try the field goal if somehow they could get in range. But you only have 10 seconds.
You got 10 seconds, and you put your getting back defense in.
We saw 2008 against Michigan here. They ran the hook and ladder.
Oh, yeah.
We saw that play earlier.
There's your get-back defense. 3-5-3, and they're deep.
Can Purdue pull a rabbit out of their hat? It is complete to Anthony Mahungu. I think they may have tried the hook and ladder.
I think you're exactly right.
And DJ Knox running on the sideline.
Yeah.
Purdue's going to have to take the timeout with 5 seconds left.
Good call. The ball was just too far inside.
12-yard reception. They finally get the connection with Anthony Mahungu.
Let's watch it here. They're going to run the curl route. And here you go. You got DJ Knox coming out of the back. Yeah, there it is. I tell you one thing. You saw Lamar Jackson coming in. If they could have pitched that outside, he had a chance.
So now what? 5 seconds left. Say a prayer. So Nebraska, obviously, they're in full prevent. What do you try to do if you're Purdue?
You know, if you can't get the ball in the end zone from here. He doesn't have that type of arm unless you get a defensive pass interference. You know, this might be one of those razzle-dazzle plays that they have it where they keep throwing around everybody. And
wow, hang on to your hat. Here we go.
Here comes razzle-dazzle.
They flip it to the outside to Knox.
Ooh.
But Knox is pushed out, and that is your ball game.
Wow.
Tanner Lee takes the Cornhuskers down the field and finds the end zone. Stanley Morgan with a touchdown reception to put the Cornhuskers over the top, and they win it 25-24. And it's a game that Nebraska fans felt was a must-win. And for Mike Riley, a must-win, and they got it, albeit barely.
Let's watch it right here. We talked, there had to be some type of razzle-dazzle. Throw it in the middle. Here comes a guy in a crosser. They flip it to him. Flip it back outside, but
it didn't work, and Nebraska wins by 1, and Michelle is with Mike Riley.
Coach, it came down to the final moments. What happened on that last play to create this victory?
Well, you know, we got a little bit in a situation where we had to throw pretty much all the time, but guys were making plays, and we made some real clutch plays last couple drives in the game.
What did this win teach you about this team?
Oh, I really like this team. I've said that from the beginning. I think we're growing. You know, there's a lot of young kids we're playing out there tonight, and I think that they're fighting like crazy, and I think we're getting better.
And they're fighting like crazy to get to a bowl game. This win gets you one step closer. How important is that?
Oh, you know, I don't normally talk about what might be down the road, but I did mention that there's still a lot to play for here, and it had to start with this night. So this was a great win for our team.
Coach, thanks so much for the time, guys.
Thanks, Michelle. Tanner Lee, 7 of 8 on that final drive, and the most passing yards by a Husker in 8 years. Tanner Lee was sensational, especially down the stretch.
Yeah, you got to give the guy a lot of credit, and you know, and they had to make the drive, and Purdue had to play what they played defensively. They picked them apart.
For Glenn Mason and Michelle McMahon, I'm Brandon Gaudin. That'll do it from West Lafayette, Nebraska. In a thriller, 25-24 over Purdue. We'll toss it to Chicago for the final drive presented by Auto Owners.